Good. Welcome to Shields Arena at Sanford Athletic Park, home of your Fargo Force and the best fans in the USHL. The holder of a Fargo Force hockey ticket assumes all risks and dangers incidental to the game of hockey, including the risk of being injured by a hockey puck or stick, and agrees that Shields Arena, the Fargo Force, its agents and players, are not liable for injuries relating from such causes, and by attending this event, waives any claim against all parties. Please, fans, watch for flying pucks. Shields Arena is committed to the health and safety of our guests and employees and is a non-smoking facility. Guests are not permitted to smoke inside Shields Arena, nor are guests allowed to exit and re-enter for the purpose of smoking. The policies outlined above apply to electronic cigarettes, smokeless cigarettes, and/or vapor cigarettes, as well as traditional cigarettes. Violators may be subject to removal from the facility and/or denied admittance into the facility. Basic first aid is available at all 4 concession stands as well as at guest services by the main entrance. Shields Arena and the Fargo Force promote good sportsmanship by athletes, coaches, and spectators. We ask for your cooperation by supporting the participants and officials in a positive manner. Profanity, racial or sexist comments, or any other intimidating action directed at officials, athletes, coaches, or team representatives will not be tolerated and are grounds for removal from the site, and, if needed, additional disciplinary actions will be taken. Shields Arena asks that for your safety and the courtesy of others, please wait for a break in action before returning to your seat. If there are any concerns that may arise during the game, please report it to your section's
Sounds good. I'm listening.
guest services so that the issue may be resolved. Thank you and enjoy the game.
Is there an open? Will the? Yep, I would say if just play the open and we should be good. Okay, yeah, we should play the open. We should be good to go. Thanks. Well, though it'll be we've got the web stream. We always have the web stream. Yep. Okay. Okay. Well, you get to this point, game 1 of the Clark Cup final. You start with camp in September. You get the Fall Classic underway to kick things off in September, and you get through the grind of a 60-game regular season. Of the postseason, you get right here, get to this point. And for the Fargo Force, familiar territory. This is the third trip to the Clark Cup final in the last 3 years. It is the fourth in the last, 7 calendar years. Of course, we did not finish the season in 2020. Fargo making their 7th Clark Cup appearance, 2009, 2010, 2013, 2018, 21, 23, and now 24 for the Dubuque Fighting Saints. Their first Clark Cup final appearance since 2016, looking to win their first since 2013. They won in this building, swept the Force 3 straight back in the spring of 2013. Good evening, Shields Arena. It is a whiteout night. We do see a lot of people got the message. A lot of old, I would say vintage, but white Force jerseys of the past, white T-shirts, sweatshirts, whatever fills the bill. And we've got a good crowd assembled, expecting north of 4,000 tonight. If not a sellout, it'll be very, very close to it. I was checking the ticket seat map this afternoon, and there was maybe about 600 left. There's some walk-up. I went down to the entryway about 5 minutes before they started letting people in at 6 o'clock, and they were lined up to the door and maybe out the door to get in. It'll be an electric atmosphere, and it certainly was on Sunday when Fargo attacked and scored quickly, like 13 seconds quickly, as Max Swanson, you couldn't have wrote up a better script. 13 seconds in, started the scoring for a 1-0 lead in Game 5 of the Western Conference Finals against the Sioux City Musketeers, and Fargo pounced on the Musketeers. Meryl Stenari got a feed from Zam Plant behind the net. A one-timer from the left circle beat Samuel Urbon for a 2-0 lead, and you didn't want to say it. You didn't want to say the quiet part too loud, but they had a 2-0 lead, and you felt really confident after that. Leo Gruba gets a goal in the second. And then Sioux City pulling Urbon with around 7 minutes to go in the game, down 3-0 in a winner-go-home game. You pretty much had nothing to lose. Fargo getting an empty netter from Tom Leppa, his second of the postseason, second in that series. And Fargo with a 4-0 victory, outshot the Musketeers 42-21. That was a complete victory. And if there's a win that kind of signifies this team in an elimination game, they came up big. Back-to-back shutouts with their backs against the wall. It's cliche, but it was true. And Fargo is on to the Clark Cup Championship. I want to say it was an easier road for the Dubuque Fighting Saints, but boy, they sure made it look that way, as the Dubuque Fighting Saints, the champions out of the Eastern Conference, 90 points, just 13 losses during the season after losing Game 1 of their Eastern Conference semifinal against Youngstown, getting blanked 2-0 back on April 20th. They won the next 3 against Youngstown, outscoring them 10-1, 6-0, 2-1 in overtime, and 2-0 in Game 4 to win that series 3-1. That got them into the Eastern Conference Final, where they faced Muskegon. Game 1 on April 28th, a 4-3 overtime victory, as they got the game-winning goal from Jaden Jubenville, who's out of Gilbert Plains, Manitoba, and will play collegiately for the University of North Dakota. So you have Jubenville on the Dubuque side that'll be a Fighting Hawk, and the same goes for Max Swanson as well for the Fargo Force. That was 4-3 in Game 1. They jumped out to a 4-0 lead midway through Game 2 the following night. Muskegon made it interesting, but 4-3 was the final, and then a 4-0 shutout in Game 3 to complete the sweep on May 2nd. So they have been off over a week. They arrived yesterday here to Fargo, and again, they have not been to the finals since 2016. They've not won one since 2013. Both these teams can score, and I think in a nutshell, and I was swapping texts with my broadcast partner Pat London, and Pat will be tuned in tonight as Pat on injured reserve here for the rest of the postseason. Pat, we miss you, and I know you'll be tuned in, but they are strong where Fargo is strong, and vice versa. Both the top scoring teams in the USHL. In fact, Fargo scored 272 goals in the regular season, Dubuque 271. Dubuque gave up 195, 3.1 goals per game. Fargo gave up a season low 143 and league low 143 goals, 2.3 goals per game. A lot of names to keep an eye on here for the Dubuque Fighting Saints. Their goaltender, Kevin Radler, 6'6" out of Sweden. He's a 5th-round draft pick of the Ottawa Senators in 2022. He'll play collegiately at Nebraska Omaha. A 6'6" goaltender. So Fargo, who shut out Dubuque early in the season back in October. And then Jerry Pat London say, if you were tuned into the radio side, Lucas St. Louis got the game winner here in early November. That was Fargo's first loss of the season. That was an overtime loss by a score of 4-3. And St. Louis got the game winner. That ended Fargo's 10-game winning streak to start the season. So there's a lot of names to keep an eye on. Raylor's been very good so far. 95% save percentage and a goals against average of 1.23. A lot of numbers, a lot of awards. Fargo dominating the year-end awards. Max Swanson named the Player of the Year and Forward of the Year. Leo Gruba the Defenseman of the Year. Hampton Slukinski Goaltender of the Year. Kerry Eads, General Manager of the Year. Brett Skinner, the Coach of the Year in the United States Hockey League. And speaking of Coach Skinner, we'll have our conversation with Brett. We'll do that right now. Jim Cook's back at our studios. I'm Brad Anderson. Glad to be with you on the Mighty 790. Well, actually on 104.7 on the FM side. KFGO and KFGO.com if you're tuned in. We certainly appreciate it. And also the folks on FloHockey as always. We'll visit with the Coach of the Year in the USHL, Brett Skinner. That's coming up in 2 minutes on 104.7 KFGO and FloHockey. Well, it's a moment we've been waiting for a long time. Clark Cup Final, Game 1, Force and Dubuque, two the top teams in each conference squaring off here for the USHL Championship with Coach Brett Skinner. And go back to Game 5, and you couldn't ask for a better start, and to not just to get what you get from Mac right away and a quick start, and that's just. You couldn't have asked for anything better. Couldn't have drawn it up any better, and you get to this point.
Yeah, obviously, just to be able to wrap up that series the way we did. I thought we had a commitment to play the right way, and I didn't think our process was far off in the two losses. But obviously, the kids got rewarded in the last two games and able to come out of that series.
And it was just. I always hear this from coaches in sports about trust that process, and maybe it's easy when in a world you kind of want instant results and instant gratification. Sometimes, and it's tough to teach this maybe to 17, 18, 19-year-old young men, but sometimes patience is a key.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're teaching the kids how to play in playoff hockey, and obviously they're 5-game series. You're allowed to lose 2 games, and we had an awareness of that. Obviously, there's a lot of different factors too. I thought the Tri-Cities series was very physical, long travel. They are still teenagers, and then we had the quick turnaround. Obviously we get the game 1 win, but it probably catches up to you in 2 and 3. And I thought when the kids had their back against the wall, though, I mean, you're down 2-1. It's not, a colossal feat, or, it's not like a 7-game series being down 3-0 or anything. But I do think when their back was against the wall that we did get to see the best out of the kids.
Dubuque has come in here and playing very well. Goaltender's been really good. They've been, shut down opponents. 6 straight playoff wins is pretty impressive. In watching them, it almost seems like you guys match up pretty well. They're strong, but you guys are strong, and vice versa. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, I kind of have this floating theory that if you get to the finals of a league that you're going to play a good opponent, and Dubuque is certainly no different. I think they're first or second in every statistical category in the league, and in their conference they're first, I think, in every category. So they're a team that we played early in the season, but you're obviously tracking how things are going across the league, and we know how talented they are. You just look at their lineup. There's no holes there. Their D-core is very talented, puck movers, good size, good mobility. Their forward group is very deep, very top-end talent base. Their top 2 lines, if not 2.5 lines, are riddled with very powerful offensive players with good size, good speed. They play a puck possession-based game, and then you, let's say you're lucky enough to get through those guys, and you got to meet their goalie, who is an NHL draft pick, very big kid, talent, but also athletic. So yeah, it's kind of that whole thing where your reward for getting to the Clark Cup Finals is you got to play a really good team.
And a 6'6" goaltender, is that how rare is that?
Obviously, it's rare. Probably most kids that get to that size maybe pick a different sport, basketball or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, it's for goalies, obviously you look at that size, it's the more net you take up, I imagine, the more pucks are going to hit you. I think there's probably a little bit of math that would back me up on that. So obviously, I think not just being 6'6", you look at the athletic saves he's made, and he has a very strong technical base. So he's a goalie with a bright future.
A lot of nice awards for a lot of your guys, and you're yourself. Congratulations on that as well. But just another example. You've brought. There's been some top level talent that has come here, come back. This has just been, win or lose. This has just been a special group.
Yeah, I think you kind of reflect on things once you get to this time of year. And obviously, when I got the job, I don't think anyone was sitting here saying I was going to have that many league all-stars, or we were in a position to be a team that was going to be in the Clark Cup by any stretch of the imagination. I think, honestly, the team awards really speak to an organizational strength from top to bottom, the support that we get from above us, and then obviously for me with the strong staff that we have, being able to implement our systems and concepts, and then the talented kids, and then not only just the talent, but their drive, their hard work that we get to see every day. Probably the best thing about being a coach is when you get to give and teach, and you're hard on the kids and you're demanding, but when you're patient and you can see their hard work pay off, it's by far the most rewarding part.
Very well said. Looking forward to tonight. Thanks for the time as always. Best of luck.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, said Coach Brett Skinner. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
Starters for tonight's Game 1 Clark Cup final inside a buzzing Shields Arena. It'll be Gavin Morrissey centering the Player of the Year and the Forward of the Year in the United States Hockey League. Anchorage, Alaska's Max Swanson. 12 points in 8 playoff games, including a goal and a helper in Game 5. He'll join Gavin Morrissey and Lee Parks in the starting line tonight. Brazen Bozer and Michael Quinn in defense. And in net, Hampton Slukinski, the USHL goaltender of the year, 6-2. Goals against average 1.52 in the postseason. Save percentage 93.3%. Back-to-back shutouts. He has not given up a goal. Well, the last goal that Sioux City got was an empty netter in Game 3. He's up over 120 minutes in surrendering a goal here in the postseason. Starters for Dubuque, Teddy Merrill, Josh Giuliani, and Andrew King will be the forwards. Jona Väisänen is on defense. Väisänen 40 points during the regular season. He'll be joined by Fisher Scott, who's headed to Colorado College. He had 8 goals, 25 assists, plus 29 this year out of Carbondale, Colorado. And Kevin Radler is in net. He has been outstanding. 6-1, 95% save percentage, 1.23 goals against average, 27 wins, 3 shutouts, 2.86 goals against average. National anthem next, opening face-off in Game 1 of the Clark Cup Finals coming up in 1 minute. Another great crowd here at Shields Arena for Game 1. Still tickets left for tomorrow, 6:05 tomorrow, FargoForce.com. You can get those at the box office or at Ticketmaster. Interesting to note, Dubuque is 6-0 when scoring first in the postseason. All 6 wins they've scored first, so they haven't given up many goals, period, in the postseason. In fact, they gave up, as we talked about in the series against Youngstown, only gave up 3 goals. They lost one of those games. Outscored Muskegon 12-6 in a 3-game sweep. Fargo outscored Sioux City 15-10, but 9-0 in games 4 and 5. Dubuque in the red sweaters. Fargo breaking out the whites with the Force logo in black and white in front. A little bit of gray on the side. And here we go for Game 1 of the Clark Cup Final. Fargo looking to win their first Clark Cup Final on home ice since 2018. They are 1-9 lifetime on home ice in the Clark Cup Finals. That has to change pronto. Here's Bozer. Brazen Bozer along, finding Swanson. Swanson dumps it into the offensive zone, quickly carried out by the Fighting Saints. Here's King with it. We'll get to the lines as we go along for Dubuque. Brazen Bozer behind the net. He's tied up as play goes to the far corner. Bozer trying to get around a Dubuque skater as he tries to get around Josh Giuliani, and it's fired back here to the near side. Fargo looks to break out. Lee Parks battles for it with Seamus Powell. Powell has 3 points, 1 goal in the postseason. That puck sent in as Radler backhands it out. Fargo to a line change. As the rest of the Fargo line, Zam Plant will center Michael Estarza and Brandon Swoboda. Jake Fisher with the Aero Hacker Ryan and Harper Bentz. Tom Leppa with Merrill Stenari and Reed Davatella. Peter Cesar is the extra forward. As we will have a whistle and a hand pass is called for Dubuque. Eric Paulson, future Minnesota Golden Gopher. The Swede centers Uri Pekarczyk and Beckett Hendrickson. Jake Sondriel will center James Reeder and Gavin Cornforth. Charlie Aaron will center Michael Barron and Noah Powell. Powell is an overtime game winner so far in the postseason. Colin Frank will be a forward as well. Luke Malbeuf and Lucas St. Louis who had the game winner. St. Louis has 5 points, 3 goals, 2 assists. Had the game winner here in the regular season win in early November over Fargo. Jaden Jubenville, Seamus Powell on defense, and Caleb Dick also on defense as well. They'll run 7 defensemen out there. Backhanded deep into the offensive zone by Fargo. A little over a minute in. Has a battle for it. Puck battle as Davitelli can't get to it. Bakarchi gets checked. Loose puck here at the red line, carried in by Merrill Stenari. Stenari had a goal on Sunday, fires a shot, deflected, goes up into the netting and out of play. 18:34 to play in the opening period. So a few folks filling in. Not too many empty seats here at Shields Arena. As Fargo lost both games last year on their way getting swept by Youngstown, and they're going to face a Dubuque team that deserves to be here. 90 points in the regular season and very good away from home. 21-7-0-1 on the road this year. Fargo, of course, dominating at home, dominated just about everywhere they played, including a shutout win back in October over Dubuque. It's been a long time since these teams have played. Puck over to the near side as Lastarza bounces it over to the near corner. Zam Plant trying to get there. Plant shovels it wide of Swoboda. Lastarza will play it in the corner. He's checked by St. Louis, and it's carried out by Dubuque. Loose at neutral ice and grabbed by Zam Plant. 18-12 and counting here. Game 1 of the Clark Cup final. Loose puck as Luke Malbeuf will play it. His pass deflected. It'll stay in play between the benches near side. It is carried in by Aaron. Aaron will chase after it. McLaughlin, his play goes to the end boards, off the back of the net. And again, first goal might be big. Fargo, when they've scored first 4-1 so far in the postseason. The only game they lost was Game 3 of the Western Conference Final at Sioux City. Lee Parks got the first goal of that game. Fargo breaks out with Plant, pass deflected by Sondriel. He'll carry it back into the offensive zone for Dubuque. Sondriel in, shot, saves Lupinski and hangs on. Sondriel in that time on Slukinski, and the same may as we take a look at it again as he was able to kind of maneuver around Finn McLaughlin and get to the forehand. But Slukinski preventing a rebound. 17:37 to play. The first shot on goal belongs to the Fighting Saints and no score. And Dubuque got here once this year, but boy, been a while that they had made it. Of course, the last few years after COVID, but pretty much Western Conference only for the Fargo Force. So it was good to see some unfamiliar opponents this year. Here's Scott with it. Scott, they pass in front, backhanded shot by Noah Powell, and the save made there. Noah Powell, who has 2 goals here in the postseason and 3 points. Fargo clears it out, and St. Louis will go back to play it. Loose puck is Sondriel. They carry it in, gets the return feed, right circle, feed wide of Noah Powell. He'll chase it down to the corner, comes back to the point for Scott. D-to-D feed, pass broken up, intercepted into the slot by Lee Parks, and quickly finds Gruba. Gruba carries it in. He'll maneuver his way to the high slot, to the forehand. He scores! To the high slot, and the defenseman of the year, the United States Hockey League, starts the scoring in the Clark Cup final, and urging Force Nation to celebrate. 2:59, he went upstairs where Mama keeps the good stuff. 1-0 Force. Top left corner. Gruba had a goal on Sunday, and he has proven to be a wizard on defense for Fargo. They're going to love him in maroon and gold next year. 17:01, Fargo gets the opening goal. We'll get the scoring here in just a moment. Here's Michael Quinn. Quinn fires it in, rings around as they beat Radler for the game's first goal, and just a heck of a shot from the high slot from Leo Gruba. Davitella back behind the net. Ooh, tried to drop it in front, just out of the reach of Tom Leppa. And out at center with it comes Dubuque. Across the line come the Fighting Saints. Colin Frank over there. Battle at the half wall. Davitella and Leppa battle for that puck. And Davitella takes a shot from Giuliani, and it's carried out by Tom Leppa. Here's Leppa. Pass deflected. He gets tipped over, and Leppa goes down. Slow to get up as the puck back to center. And it's carried in by the Fighting Saints. There's a shot save made. Rebound pushed just wide. On the doorstep was Teddy Merrill, kept in by Seamus Powell. Meantime, Lepa is still down. It's 5-on-4 as we have a battle back behind the net. Tate Taylor, as we have two different skirmishes behind the net. Davatella and Gruba. Now here comes the third. Stenari joins in as there was all kinds of traffic in front on Hampton Slukinski. In the meantime, Tom Lepa is still down as he went down in the Fargo offensive zone. Trainer Derek Grieshaber is over there. So that's the point of concern right now. 16:04 to go in the first as there was traffic in front on Slukinski, and we had 2 to 3 different skirmishes that quickly got sewn up by the officials. 16:04 to go here in the opening period. It's 1-0 as Lepa up to his feet. Not quite, but he's there. He'll get a nice hand. Leo Gruba the goal. Lee Parks the first assist. It's his second assist of the postseason. And guess who? Max Swanson on the second assist, his 10th. There's the backhanded shot in on Slukinski as Gruba took offense on Beckett Hendrickson. There you see Tate Taylor was ready to go after Teddy Merrill, who wanted really no part of it. And the official's still talking it over, so right now there are no penalties as we speak, but Dubuque has got in deep on Slukinski a couple of different times here early on. Fargo scored on their first shot on that shot from Gruba from the forehand. Now the officials going to head over to the, well, two of the officials are going to talk things over. Our referees are Dylan Sater and Ryan Siegel. The linesmen are Odin Nelson and Joshua Rosenbaum. Those two are right between the benches. But again, Gruba from Parks and Swanson on the goal. 16:04, 16:04 is what we have right now. Is at 2:59 of the first period for Gruba. Second goal of the postseason. The other came on a screen shot in Game 5 on Sunday. So no penalties. The faceoff's going to be to the left of Slukinski. It'll be an offensive zone faceoff as you see a look at Eric Paulson. Paulson, 72 points this year. The leaderboard of the USHL, 28 goals, 44 assists. He had 72 points. Jake Sondriel, another Twin Cities product. He's from Woodbury. Well, Paulson's from Sweden. He's going to the U of M, but Sondriel from Woodbury. Hendrickson from Minnetonka. Hendrickson, 64 points this year as well. Off the face-off, it's controlled by Fargo. Now loose in front, poked away by the force, and finally carried out by Swanson. Out of the reach of Parks, and icing will be the call. 15:53 to play in the first, but I think that just the simplest way to put it, Dubuque is strong where Fargo is and vice versa. And that was the question we had for Brett Skinner, and I think just hearing him describe Dubuque, you can look in the mirror and say, that's what we do. Handle the puck well. Puck possession is very, very key. Eric Paulson and Gavin Morrissey on the draw. So we'll keep an eye on Lepa. We'll see how that changes things as far as the lines pass wide as St. Louis will chase it down. St. Louis long pass through two lines and gathered in by Eric Paulson. Paulson's feed taken there by Uri Pekarczyk. Now Hendrickson brings it around to the far side and grabbing it on the run, Max Swanson. Swanson, pass goes through center and will go on the goaltender, Kevin Radler, and Radler will freeze it with 15:29 to go in the first. And it's 1-0 in favor of Fargo. Fargo is +5 as far as goals in the series against Sioux City, but blanked them 9-0 in the final two games. Fargo here at home in the postseason is 4-1. Off the draw, it'll be planned. I was very impressed. They ended up sweeping a very good Muskegon team. Granted, two of those were one-goal games. One was in overtime. And then a shutout, 4-0 in the third and deciding game. Giuliani had a pair of goals in that game for Des Moines. Cornforth and St. Louis added goals. 21 saves for Radler. Here's Gruba, fires a shot, screen shot off the back of Swoboda's skate. Comes back to the point. Newmeyer for Gruba. Gruba working to the high slot. Lestarza taking off the puck that time, and it's 2-on-2 here for the Fighting Saints. Cornforth down the left wing boards, takes a hit from Gruba's play, goes to the corner and out of the end boards. Fargo looks to clear it out. It's kept in by Visinen fired a shot, save made, or tried to fire it on goal. Not sure if it got through. It did. They'll put a shot on the board. As a save made by Hampton Slukinski. Gruba for Michael Newmeyer. Newmeyer puts the brakes on, tries to flip it up over the defender and does. As Fargo will change up on the back end. Bozer comes out for a shift. Swoboda will take a loose puck as he's harassed at neutral ice. Fired in by Newmeyer from neutral ice, and the red line fires on goal, forcing Radler to make a long-range save on that one. 14:35 to go in the first. Dumped in that time. Charlie Aaron dumps it in deep. As they will start up in a line change, will the Dubuque Fighting Saints. Game 2 tomorrow night. Series moves to Iowa starting next Friday evening. Rayler comes out of the cage. Chased there by Bentz as the puck over to the corner. Broken up in a turnover. Here's a one-timer. Hakkarainen. After winning a puck battle in the corner was Bentz, and Eero Hakkarainen was still looking for his first postseason goal. A one-timer and a clean look from the left circle and a save made by Radler. Time out of the ice. Just over 14 minutes to play here in Game 1 of the Clark Cup Final, and Leo Gruba gets Fargo on the board first. Fargo 1, Dubuque nothing. We're back in 60 seconds on FloHockey and 104.7 KFGO. .14 to go in the opening period. I'm Brad Anderson. Jim Cook back at the KFGO studios. Pat Blunden is here in spirit. He's tuned in at home, I know. Pat, we miss you. And I know he's trying to root the boys on. Gruba fires a shot wide about the same spot where he scored on, and that one got deflected up and out of place. Boy, he had plenty of room to borrow a golf phrase, grip it and rip it. 14:08 to go in the first. Shots on goal 5-4 in favor of the Fighting Saints. Gruba's goal giving Fargo a 1-0 lead. Fargo never led in last year's Clark Cup final. They got shut out in Game 3. They tied it in Game 2. They ended up losing in overtime in Game 2, which really swung things in Youngstown's favor. We were scoreless through 2 periods of memory serves. I may have to go back and look. Got plenty of info to feed you in the intermission reports. Dumped in here to the near side. Morrissey bats it out. Parks trying to grab it on the run. He can't, as a puck battle for it. As puck comes out and finally controlled by the Fighting Saints and Jaden Jubenville for Powell. Seamus Powell trying to get around Parks, taken by Swanson now. Swanson just into the zone, fires it in deep as Jubenville back to play it. Those two will be teammates at some point at UND. Bouncing puck at neutral ice and trying to get through traffic. Noah Powell does, comes through center, and Powell will backhand that one along. They'll change on the back end, will Dubuque. Fresh set of defensive pairings out there as Swanson gets checked and tipped over that time by Luke Malboof. Loose just inside the blue line, batted along to the corner. Doing the honors for Dubuque. As he comes back for Tate Taylor. Taylor comes across the line, dumps that one in deep, and really Dubuque has come out playing very physical on Fargo. Not afraid to get in their face a little bit. Plant for Swoboda, bouncing puck, and comes back to Plant at neutral ice. Plant and backhanded along there by Michael Estarza. Puck back behind goaltender Radler in the Dubuque net. Here come the Fighting Saints. 12:48 to go in the first. Puck comes through neutral ice. Frank has it. Bats it off the official. Now they carry it into the offensive zone, and I believe it's going to be offside, I believe will be the call. 12:42 to go in the opening period. 1-0 in favor of Fargo. Game 2 tomorrow night, an hour earlier at 6:05. 5:45 pregame on FloHockey, and right here on 104.7 KFGO FM. And note for folks on the audio side, all the games of the Clark Cup Final will be on KFGO FM, 104.7 FM, and online as well, KFGO.com. Off the face-off, here's Quinn. Quinn passes it to the near side. Davatella sends that one along as Väisänen back to play it. Oh, big hit. Väisänen, a collision there with Merrill Stenari. Stenari sends it back to the point. Fargo in the offensive zone. Newmeyer bats it off. A couple of sets of bodies in the left circle. And Scott, feed goes back towards the blue line. Feed off the back of a skater and dumped in by Paulson. Pekarczyk with it. Pekarczyk back behind the net with it. Had it poked away. Poke checked away out of the stick of Morrissey. Now Newmeyer to play it. Newmeyer, feed. Able to settle it down with a skate was Stenari. Now Morrissey comes across the line. Davatella. Davatella back for Morrissey. And a nice toe drag and a pretty feed. Here's Taylor off the bench. Fires a shot. Save made by Radler. Traffic in front. Dubuque tries to carry it out and slapped away by Morrissey, but controlled by the Fighting Saints. Pekarczyk unable to get to it. It's the puck deep into the offensive zone for Dubuque. Pekarczyk takes down Tate Taylor. Feed in front. Didn't connect to the bottom of the circle far side. Carried out by Harper Benz for Fargo. Benz trying to bat it in. Now Fisher. Fisher sends it in, but controlled there by Seamus Powell. 11:25 to go in the first. It's 1-0 Fargo. Game 1 of the Clark Cup Finals. And the Force dump it in. Radler will play it. Drops it for Seamus Powell. Powell, 3 points here in this postseason. A goal and 2 assists, showing off some speed. Pass wide, just out of the reach of Charlie Aaron. And Fargo will clear it and send it all the way down. Icing will be the call. 11:08 to go in the first. Shots on goal, 5 apiece. And the Force with a 1-0 advantage. Radler, so far in the postseason, 33 saves in a 2-1 overtime win. That was the clincher at Youngstown. Take a look at it again. Morrissey back to the point. Tate Taylor just off the bench. Got a clean look, and there was traffic in front. Powell got the game winner in that one. Radler had 33 saves. Dubuque was outshot in that game 34-33. They were outshot in game 2 against Muskegon, although they won 4-3. Had a 4-0 lead, then Muskegon made it interesting as that puck, they tried to clear it, went up and over the glass, and that one all the way up, and that would be section, I think, 102, right in front of Media Row there, and everybody's looking around to find where the puck ended up. That's almost up to the club row, it looks like. 10:55 to go in the first. That will lead to offensive zone face-off here for the Fighting Saints. Noah Powell is their leading goal scorer with 43 on the season, and their leading point man was 74. They had top 4 goal scorers went 27, 27, 28, and 43 on the year. Fighting Saints have it, trailing 1-0. Sondrill's and a backhanded feed intercepted by Fargo. Here comes Lastarza as Plant with him. Lastarza left circle, a shot wide. Here's Quinn, fires another shot. Radler the save, rebound loose, cleared aside for the Fighting Saints. The bouncing puck works its way back to neutral ice. Bozer after it, bouncing puck. Now Plant tries to send it along and does. Chased down by Jubenville, taken away by Swoboda. Swoboda in front, went down to one skate, couldn't get a shot off. Plant digs it out. Here's Lastarza, fires a shot, he scores! Might have got deflected home. As Lastarza threw it in front, might have got tipped. It looked like it did by Brandon Swoboda. It's 2-0. Plant sending it back. Lastarza shot. It was tipped. Swoboda kind of reaching from behind. Got a piece of it and tipped it past Radler. Might have went 5-hole on that one off the deflection. 9:43 into period number 1. And the home team's buzzing. 2-0 Force. Swoboda gets his 3rd goal of the postseason. He had 2 in the Western Conference Final. Should be Lastarza and Plant on the assists if the pictures do it justice, and they usually do. Lastarza firing that shot. So that should be the case. Swoboda, Plant was able to dig that puck off the inboards. Swoboda picks up the goal, his 3rd of the postseason after missing about a month due to injury. He did not play in the Tri-City playoff series. There's Tate Taylor, backhands it along for Swanson. Parks trying to get through a pair of skaters. And St. Louis finding Malbuth. Malva for Aaron. Deflected, nearly played with a high stick by Leo Gruba, and they say it was played with a high stick, and I think they'll say it was, and they will. 9:47 to go in the opening period. Shots on goal 7-5 in favor of Fargo, so 2 goals on their first 7 shots, and we'll have a media timeout. Let's get you the scoring, and it is indeed Swoboda from Plant and Lestarza to make it 2-0. We'll tidy things up here in just a moment. 9:47 to go in the opening period. Game 1 of the Clark Cup Final. Fargo 2, Dubuque nothing. We're back in 60 on FloHockey and 104.7 KFGO. Well, we talked about how that first goal might be very important. Dubuque 6-0 and scoring first. Fargo 4-1, and well, the recipe seems very similar to what we saw on Sunday. The point here, Dubuque can come back. They've got they have the arsenal to come back from a 2-0 deficit, and there's still plenty of time left. 9:47 to go in the opening period as we welcome you back to Shields Arena. It's 2-0 Fargo. Game 1 of the Clark Cup Final here in FloHockey and 104.7 KFGO FM. The goal was Swoboda from Lestarza and Plant as Fargo. The goal from Swoboda, his third, puck dumped in deep, played back behind the net as Dubuque looks to break out with it. Pass out, intercepted, neutralized by Bozer. As Plant his 4th assist, 7th point. Lestarza likewise. 3 goals, now 4 assists. Puck deflected, taken there by Barron. Michael Barron comes wide of the right circle, trying to drop it in front. Puck gets ping-ponged around as it comes back to Charlie Aaron. Aaron over the corner for Cornforth. Behind the net comes Michael Barron. Play comes here to the near side. Avoiding the check of Quinn was Barron. Cornforth works his way back to the blue line. Pass broken up by Harper Betts. Couldn't find the puck. It's loose right in front of the Fargo bench and taken there by Zam Plant. Bozer at center. He'll come across the line as Betts with him. Shot Bozer kicked aside by Radler. High off the glass behind the net. Carried out by the Fighting Saints. 8:40 to play in the first. Fargo has an 8-5 edge in shots on goal and more importantly a 2-0 lead in goals for. As goals from Gruba and Swoboda giving Fargo the early lead. Both these teams were the top 2 scoring teams. They were 1 and 2 in a lot of categories, statistical categories throughout the season. Too many to mention at this point. Jubenville, pass it here to the near corner. We get a time to breathe. We'll inform you on all those categories, and they were 1 and 2. Power play was one of them. Here's Gruba. Backhanded along Stenari. Stenari takes a hit. Loose at the red line. Over far side was Fisher, controlled by Dubuque. Here's Seamus Powell. Powell dumps that one in as we're inside of 8 minutes to play in the opening period. Here comes Fargo with Newmeyer. Backhanded out. Pass for Gruba. Did not connect. And comes back deflected. Davatella trying to grab it. Davatella, Stenari. Stenari in. Wide pass in front. They try to drop it in front. Try to stuff it home. I believe was Hakkarainen. Make it Morrissey. Gavin Morrissey. And able to get a stoppage was Radler. 7:42 to go in the first. Nice move by Stenari. Dropped it in front. Morrissey was right on the doorstep. Pass just missed hitting the tape of his stick. Get an overview look on that one. Yeah, he kind of used his skate to try and gain control of it. Looking at Tom Lepp, I don't see him on the bench, so with the hit he took, I wonder if his night's over, but we shall see. Right now it's Davatella, Morrissey, and Stenari. But we've seen Brett Skinner change those and tweak those lines on the fly, so this would not be anything different for Fargo. Davatella in the corner with it. Davatella makes his move in, trying to cut in from goal line extended. Deflected out, kept in as Quinn took a step in, controlled by the Force Morrissey. Back for Quinn at the point. D-to-D feed for Taylor. Taylor throws it hard up the end boards, looking to carry it back in front. Davatella battles for that puck as play goes over to the far corner. Controlled there by Luke Melvith. And here comes Dubuque. Pekarczyk with it. Pekarczyk taking off the play. Here's Morrissey from the red line, fires it in. Fargo will go to a change. 7:07 to go in the first. Force 2, Dubuque nothing. Here on FloHockey and 104.7 KFGO FM. Deflected and sent all the way down ice by the Fighting Saints. They'll change up as they change up a couple of defenders on the back end. As poke checked away from Fisher. He's hit, and Fisher gets it back. Back at Hendrickson was checked as Fisher down the left wing board sends that one in deep. Newmeyer and Grube on defense for Fargo. Max Swanson sends it back to the left point for Michael Newmeyer. Newmeyer works his way in. Newmeyer to the slot, now to the right circle. Cuts in front, shot, ooh, just wide. Nifty stick handling there as he got to the forehand at the last second. Here's Parks. Fisher was camping the slot, but surrounded by a pair of skaters dressed in red. Swanson at the red line looks to carry it back in and does. Parks gets tipped over. Fargo will start up in a line change. Parks trying to keep that puck deep into the offensive zone as Callum Dick after it. Loose puck taken there by the Fighting Saints. Back at Hendrickson. Pass to center. Did not connect with James Reeder. Bozer back to play it. So down 2-0. You've maybe seen Dubuque not be quite as physical on Fargo. It says they've got to think about trying to get some of their playmakers opportunities in space. Sondriel tied up there by Listarza. Puck comes free. It comes back to Väisänen. Scott trying to send that one along and does. Reeder will chase after it. Meets Tate Taylor in the corner. Taylor flips it over to the far side and corner. Centering feed in front. Nearly connected. And the shot deflected just wide. It's camped to the doorstep there with Sondriel. Another sniper, one of the top ones for Dubuque. Sondriel spins, fires a shot wide, missed the net. Was able to keep that puck just in play, just inside the blue line. Swoboda goes down. Puck taken away there by Fisher Scott. Pass near side. Here's Powell, deflected and played out by Brazen Bozer. Buys it in to play it. Finds Sondriel. 5:10 to go in the first. Sent in by James Reeder. Bozer in the far corner. Bats it to the end boards. It comes out to Moorhead's Harper Betts. He's checked. And he is sent down. Battle for it in the half wall near side. So trying to be aggressive on that forecheck. Now Fargo breaks out with Eero Hakkarainen for Betts. Betts stops that one in. Hakkarainen trailing the play. That puck deflected and goes up and out of play. A few rows up into section 111 over in the far corner. 4:51 to go in the first. And you tell Dubuque trying to be physical on Fargo. They kind of set that tone early. It kind of backed off a little bit, but we saw Fargo skater take a big hit on the forecheck, which nearly led to a scoring opportunity, but Fargo was able to come away with the puck. 4:51 to go in the first. It's 2-0 Fargo here in game one of the Clark Cup final from Shields Arena. 7th trip to the Clark Cup final for Fargo in this the 17th year of the franchise, actually the 16th year of the franchise, going back to the opening season of 2008-2009. Pretty impressive. Loose puck as controlled by Benson in the far corner. Fargo in the offensive zone as he's taken off the play. And they flip it up over Newmeyer at the blue line. Cornforth a race for the puck as Slukinski comes way out of the cage and will send that along to the far side as Slukinski back in net. They were unable to get a shot on him. Carried out by Quinn. He has Davatella with him. Quinn for Davatella. Davatella takes a hit, grabs it in the corner, and tries to drop it off for Quinn. Stopped by the official inadvertently as Davatella works his way to the bottom of the circle. He's tied up. Fisher in the far corner. Fargo changing up skaters. In comes Tate Taylor. Out goes Quinn on the back end. Here is Stenari. Stenari back for Gruba. Fires a shot. Fired wide. Taylor backhanded back to the end boards. As Malbuff to play it. Carried out now Gruba. Gruba at the red line. Tried to send a check, and he did as he tried to send Cornforth into the Fargo bench and got a whistle and a stoppage. 3:49 to go in the opening period. Fargo did not go to the power play against Sioux City in that, as not a lot of penalties called until we had a fight in the third period on Sunday. Dubuque did not. In fact, that first game of the Western Conference Final, which went into overtime, there was not a penalty called in that first game of the Eastern Conference Final against Muskegon. Dubuque was 1 of 8 on the power play, and a power play that was up north of 30% of the regular season has not really gained traction. But the way they've been defensively and with Radler in net, hasn't had to be. 3:40 to go in the first. It's 2-0 Fargo. St. Louis pass did not connect cleanly. Fargo looks to clear it out. Gruba sends it over to the far side. Stenari, the first one there, can't handle it cleanly. Kept in as a shot fired wide from the point from Caleb Dick. Loose puck as it comes back out. Giuliani nearly overskates it and will fire it hard to the corner. Taken there by Frank as Skater capped in front, as they had Skater capped in front that time and couldn't get it to him. They had Merrill camped in front. 3:08 to go in the first is Fargo. Caleb Dick trying to get around Davitella. Fargo trying to get set up on the forecheck. Giuliani battled away by Davitella. St. Louis will play it. St. Louis, D-to-D feed. As Dick comes across the line, takes a hit from Morrissey. Puck dumped in deep. Giuliani after it, met there by Quinn. Play goes to the end boards. Now Bozer, 2:45 to go in the first. 2-0 Force in game one. Puck comes free, taken there by Eric Paulson. Puck comes through center and on net. Slukinski taken there by Brazen Bozer. So they tested Slukinski with a couple of good rushes early on. There's a pass nearly intercepted, errant feed. Loose puck as Hendrickson for Paulson. He'll take it, goal line extended, centering feed did not connect. Hendrickson back as a shot that time bottom of the circle from Eric Paulson. And a stoppage, and it did get through to Slukinski, it looked like. 2:22 to go is still 2-0 Force, as you see. Look at the crowd. There's some of the crew down at ice level. So they had the white out. I think a lot of people got the word on that. Kind of similar to, well, it's been done a lot. I think Winnipeg was the first one back in the days. First of the old Winnipeg Arena. Now to the current arena downtown, but the Winnipeg whiteout. 2:22 to go in the opening period. 2-0 Fargo. Shots on goal 9-7 in favor of the Force, and Dubuque wins the draw. Newmeyer, loose puck at center, taken there by Scott for the Fighting Saints. He'll fire it in from neutral ice, cut off by Gruba. Got a piece of it. Newmeyer flips it up over a pair of skaters. Try to flip it up over a pair of skaters at neutral ice. Paulson's feed connects with Hendrickson. Hendrickson trying to take the puck away, kind of spin it away from Michael Newmeyer. It comes back to Newmeyer for Fargo. Now Gruba connects here for Morrissey. Morrissey into the slot. Now Swoboda. Swoboda shot, and Radler the save. They took Morrissey off the play, but the puck came to Swoboda in the right circle. He already has one goal tonight, and he had a really clean look on that one. As they converged, Scott took out Morrissey, but he was able to get the puck to Swoboda. He had a clean look, maneuvering in from the right circle, and Radler closed those pads as tight as he could. 1:49 to go in the first. Shots on goal 10-7 in favor of the Force, and Fargo 50 wins in the regular season. The Anderson Cup champs lead 2-0 in game one of this Clark Cup final. Jake Fisher, 5 points in the playoffs through 8 games. Woodbury product. Play for Denver. Take the draw here against Jake Sondriel. A couple of Woodbury kids on the draw. Off the face-off, getting tipped over with Swoboda after puck came free off the face-off. Sondriel with it. Comes that puck in. Feed into the slot. Taken away by Fisher. Loose. Rolling puck back to neutral ice. Swoboda after it. Feed now for Gruba. Gruba toe drag and a shot. The save made by Radler. So 11 shots on Radler. They've gotten 2 past him as we're inside of 90 seconds to play here in the opening period. Loose puck as controlled by Dubuque. Seamus Powell pass deflected. Sondriel trying to gather it in. He's sandwiched. Gruba gets tipped over. Comes back to neutral ice. Now Seamus Powell again for the Fighting Saints. Pass for Sondriel. Gains the line. Dumps it off there for Noah Powell. And lost an edge there as he went down. Got tipped over. And Newmeyer comes down. Is that going to lead to a penalty? Looks like it will. So Newmeyer got knocked down, and our first penalty of the night will be against Dubuque in the final minute here of the first. As is it Noah Powell that's going in? Or actually, no. Looks to be Jake Sondriel that's going to go in. Checking from behind is the call against Sondriel. Comes at 19:01 of the first. You see it from the reverse angle. So Fargo did not get a power play in Game 5 of that Western Conference Final against Sioux City. Gets the power play now. Fargo is 5 of 17 in the postseason. They're facing a Dubuque penalty kill that's been perfect, 11 for 11 here in the Clark Cup playoffs through 7 games. Here's Quinn. One-timer Swanson fired wide. Plant was there to the goaltender's right, just missed. So Fargo doesn't score here. They'll have about a minute of power play time when we come back for the second period. Here's Parks, but boy, if they get one here, they could blow the roof off the joint. Here comes Parks across the line. Parks weaves his way to the right circle. Will fire it hard off the inboards. Gruba in deep. Sends it back to the inboards. And cleared. And not all the way down, but they get it out of the zone. Fargo will have to vacate the zone. Carrying it back in is Plant. Gruba handles it. Brings it around to the near side. Swanson waits for it. Comes back to Mack. 15 seconds to go in the period. Down low. Comes back to the point for Quinn. Quinn, one-timer, Gruba, shot blocked and cleared out. Blocked that time by Visenden, and that will put an end to the first period of play as the final seconds tick away, and Fargo has a 2-0 lead after 1. Shields Arena comes to their feet through the first 20 minutes of play. Fargo will have a minute 1 left on the power play when we return. They did not get a shot on goal so far. Shots on goal, at least on the man advantage. 11-7 in favor of Fargo through the opening 20. And Fargo started fast on a beauty of a shot by Leo Gruba from the high slot. Went top left corner to beat Kevin Radler. And then Brandon Swoboda chipping a shot from Michael Estarza from up high. And there you have it. Fargo with a 2-0 lead through the opening 20 minutes of play, Game 1 of the USHL Clark Cup Final. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back with the intermission report, our first period recap, and much more coming up here in our first intermission report. Game 1 of the Clark Cup Final, Fargo 2, Dubuque nothing. We're back in 2 minutes on 104.7 KFGO and FloHockey. Back here at the Shields Arena, Sanford Athletic Park, game one of the Clark Cup final. With Jim Cook back at our studios, Brad Anderson here in front of probably close to 4,000 of our closest friends. Game one of the Clark Cup final. It's 2-0 in favor of the Western Conference champion and Anderson Cup champion Fargo Force. We talked about it in the outset. Fargo 1-9 lifetime here at Shields Arena. You go back to their first year in the franchise, they got to the final. That was a best of 5. They lost game 3 here to the Indiana Ice, now defunct, in 2009. 2010, I think longtime Force fans will remember this well. They faced the Green Bay Gamblers, won the first 2 in Green Bay, had a chance to clinch it on a Friday night. Game went to triple overtime when Green Bay won. They won game 4 the following night, and I can still remember listening to Dan Hammer's call in game 5 at the Resch Center. Fargo jumped out with the early lead, but Green Bay won that. But Fargo lost those 2 at home. Lost to Dubuque in overtime in game 3 and 13. As the Fighting Saints, that was their last Clark Cup championship, was in 2013. Then in 2018, Fargo got an Evan Bell goal early for a game 1 win over Youngstown. Lost in game 2 in overtime the following night. Then won 2 at the Covelli Center to win their first Clark Cup championship in May of 2018. And then 2021, they were the underdog against the Chicago Steel. Lost both games here at home and losing the series 3-1. Had home ice advantage against Youngstown, and they couldn't solve a hot goaltender last year. Got beat at home, including a overtime heartbreaker in game 2 on their way and getting swept 3 straight. So 1-9 lifetime, as it has been a struggle here at home, but you wouldn't know it. Trying to reverse a little history here. Got a 2-0 lead through the opening 20 minutes of play. Scoring started 2:59 into the first period. Leo Gruba with a shot from the high slot. Went top left corner, beating goaltender Kevin Radler. As Radler, goals against average 1.23 coming in. 3 shutouts in the postseason for Radler, as he had 2 against Youngstown, and then a 4-0 blanking of Muskegon to clinch the Eastern Conference title on May 2nd. He's faced 11 shots and given up 2 goals, but Gruba from Lee Parks and Max Swanson, 2:59 of the first, gave Fargo the game's first goal and a 1-0 lead. Then Brandon Swoboda off a shot from Michael Lestarza. Lestarza shot from a high slot from up high, and Swoboda tipped it. And tipped it, looked like went through the 5-hole of goaltender Radler at 9:43 of the first. Swoboda from Plant and Lestarza for Zam and Michael, their 4th assist, each 7 points now in the postseason. This game number 9 now for Fargo in the playoffs. Swoboda, who didn't come back until the Sioux City series, he missed about a month due to injury. They got injured late in March. He has come back and scored 3 goals. As Swoboda, that 3rd goal of the postseason at 9:43, making it 2-0. Penalties in the first period. It was Jake Sondriel checking from behind at 19:01. Fargo still has a minute 1 of the man advantage and looking for their first shot on goal so far in the postseason. Well, we talked about Fargo dominating the year-end awards, as more of those awards came out today. As we can tell you, Max Swanson named the Player of the Year. It was also the Forward of the Year, but the overall Player of the Year. He is the first Force player to win that award. The league awards are voted on by each member club's general manager after each team nominates its players for awards. Swanson, all USHL first team, 2nd year in a row for that, and the Forward of the Year as well. 77 points in 55 games this year, 26 goals and 51 assists. He led the USHL in assists, 3rd in points, tied for the top plus-minus rating at +39. He had a career-high 7 points in a 12-4 win, the 12 goals against Sioux Falls on February 9th, a club record. He had 3 goals and 4 assists, as he is a native of Anchorage, Alaska. Also was a part of Team USA in the World Junior A Challenge. As we mentioned, the first Force player to be selected as USHL Player of the Year, and you consider some of the talent that's gone through here the last decade and a half. That's saying something. Kerry Eads named the general manager of the year, as he is the one that assembled this roster and has really been just a stalwart. First as coach and general manager, now GM, putting together a roster that won 50 games this year. 4 years as head coach of the Force, and then 2019 moving up, I should say, to president of hockey operations and general manager duties, and replaced by Pierre-Paul Lamoureux, then Nick Oliver, and now Brett Skinner. And Brett Skinner, second straight year that Fargo's gotten the coach of the year. Was Nick Oliver last year. Did such a magnificent job before heading on to be an assistant coach at the University of Wisconsin. And Brett Skinner in his first year with essentially a new coaching staff. Only Carter Creer stayed along, but it was a new coaching staff, and Skinner coming in and talking about that process and telling the guys to trust that process. The guys have bought in, and look at the results so far. So congrats. And those are just some of the year-end awards. We'll have more to come as we continue on in our intermission report. We'll take a look back. We'll hop into the Wayback Machine, look back to 2013 when these two franchises met in the Clark Cup Championship. That's coming up next. At the end of one period of play, we're in intermission number 1. Fargo 2, Dubuque nothing. Game 1 of the Clark Cup final here from Shields Arena. We're back with more in 2 minutes. Force lead 2-0. First intermission. Game 1 of the Clark Cup final an hour earlier tomorrow, 6:05 with a 5:45 pregame on FloHockey and 104.7 FM KFGO. 2013, Fargo won a pair of 5-game series to get to the Clark Cup Championship under then head coach John Marks, beating Waterloo and Sioux Falls to get to the final, facing a Dubuque team that had really dominated all season long. Fighting Saints, after giving up a goal early in Game 1. Let's go back to May 10th of 2013. Kenny Gillespie got Fargo on the board with a goal for a 1-0 lead, but the Fighting Saints responded with 3 goals in the first, 1 in the second for a 4-1 Game 1 win. Back in Game 1, May of 2013. The following night, same score, same result, 4-1 in favor of Dubuque that night as well. Fargo's lone goal came from current NHLer, current Winnipeg Jet, Alex Iafallo from downtown Donato. That was at 1:16 of the second period. Brendan Jensen, Cameron Johnson were in net that night. Jensen gave up a pair of goals on 6 shots in the first period, was lifted as 4-1 was the final that night. And then you go back to Shields Arena on May 17th, 2013. Dubuque clinched the series with a 3-2 overtime win. Frank DiChiara had the game-winning goal, 8:17 into overtime. Iafalo and Austin Ortega, boy, there's a couple of names from the past, had the Fargo goals that night. Fargo, interesting, scored first in 2 of those 3 games and lost them both. Cam Johnson had 40 saves in that game. Cam Johnson, one of a long line of really outstanding goaltenders that the Force have had over the years, but that was on May 17, 2013. Dubuque won 3-2 in overtime. That's the last time that they've won a Clark Cup championship. Last time that they made it was 2016. That does it with our intermission report. Just one other score, just keeping an eye on some other scores here as well. The Twins and the Blue Jays, they are now in the 7th inning, make it the 8th. Now the top of the 8th, Minnesota red hot. They lead the Toronto Blue Jays by a score of 2-1. And a quick check of the NHL playoffs as well, as we can tell you, the NHL playoffs, Florida leads Boston 3-0 for 2 periods of play. The second round in the Eastern Conference, that series is tied 1-1. Out west, later tonight, it'll be Edmonton and Vancouver. The Canucks lead that series 1-0. That'll be a 9 p.m. face-off. We'll come back with the video highlights of the first period, get you ready for period number 2. It's 2-0 in favor of Fargo over Dubuque, as we will come back with those highlights and much more in 60 seconds on 104.7 KFGO and FloHockey. That goal from Leo Gruba to start the scoring, as we mentioned, up top to the top shelf at 2:59 for a 1-0 lead. As the Force come out for the second period of play. To a nice ovation here at Shields Arena. I don't know if we quite reached a sellout, but boy, we are close. A good house here. Hard to get yourself to come inside on a beautiful spring evening, but a lot of people did the trick here to see this through in the Clark Cup final. As there you see the Force coming out of the tunnel for the start of period number 2, as we'll get to those highlights here in just a moment. And in fact, here we go. Well, early on there you see Jake Sondrel switching to the forehand and in on Hampton Slukinski, one of 7 saves he made in the opening period. Watch this move by Gruba up top left corner to beat Radler for his second goal in as many games for a 1-0 lead. Fargo kept the pressure on. Tate Taylor got that feed from Morrissey. And a blast there save was made. Brandon Swoboda, a nice move in front and nearly got tipped over and unable to pull the trigger on a shot, but it was kept in with Starzan. Swoboda kept playing, able to tip that shot in front right there past Radler. And Swoboda's third goal of the postseason made it 2-0. Here was Merrill Stenari, a feed just misconnecting with Gavin Morrissey. Meantime, Newmeyer in as he nearly had one crawled up the arm of Radler that time. Leo Gruba, another chance, went to the toe drag and a shot. Tom Leppo we have not seen come back to the bench as he was helped off the ice in the first period, so that leads you to believe that his night more than likely is over, as Fargo probably mix and match in those lines a little bit without Leppa, and that line of Well, Hakkarainen and Davatella and Stenari have been some true grinders this year that have helped Fargo to a lot of success. Swanson, as Fargo starts on the power play here as they are down to 38 seconds of the man advantage. Here's Gruba, left circle, back out, Quinn. Plant down low, Swanson. Swanson now back at the point for Quinn. Now Gruba, left circle. Got two camped in front. Gruba works his way back down the wall, drops it off. Now for Parks. Quinn gets it back from Swanson. 17 to the man advantage. 2-0 Fargo. One-timer fired wide. Held in by Gruba. Sends it, rings it around to the far side. Swanson. Now Quinn handles it. 5 seconds. Throws it up high. Save made. Made by Radler. Came up high, about helmet high, kept in by Gruba as penalty expires. Gruba in front for Plant, nearly connected. He was right on the doorstep, and right out of the penalty box, Sondriel will get to that loose puck as, he slipped and went down as he was all by himself. Might have had a chance for a scoring opportunity, and down he went. Here's Swanson with it for Lastarza, gives it away, pass it center, and trying to gather it in and carry it along was Charlie Arendt. Loose puck as Rader, as loose, taken by Lastarza. Lastarza across the line as Swanson with him, finds Mack, a shot, save made by Radler. Loose puck back behind the net, Swanson trying to battle for it. Up to side by Dubuque, kept in by Bozer. Swanson, left circle, has deflected in and up in front. Seamus Powell to play it for the Fighting Saints. Flips that one high in the air. Off the back of Hendrickson's skate. Backhanded in by Dubuque, but I think offside's going to be the call. 18:07 to play in the second period. So they kill off the Fargo penalty. Fargo did not get a shot on goal. Where you see Swanson trying to go to the short side. Looked like the stick side on Radler and just missed. That pass connected behind a pair of Fighting Saints skaters. 18:07 to play second period. Game one of the Clark Cup final here at Shields Arena, and the Force have a 2-0 lead. Jake Sondriel on the draw with Fisher. And on the face-off, controlled by the Force. Bozer. Tate Taylor has it. And that one sent in deep. Radler back to play it behind the net. And sends that one, tried to clear it over to the near corner, and it got into the netting and out of play. So that should keep the face-off. Should be an O-zone face-off here for Fargo's. The line of Fisher, Lastarza, and Swoboda out there. They're kind of mixing and matching a little bit with the lines with Lepa out. But again, Fargo just such a good cohesive unit. You can move those puzzle pieces around and not miss a beat. I'd imagine Dubuque is pretty much the same as well. Fisher and Sondriel on the draw. We will try it again on the face-off. Off the draw, it is controlled, and Lepa got that update. Lepa is done for the game, so appreciate that update from our crew, but Lepa is done, and we'll see if he comes back tomorrow. But that was pretty solid contact he took, and he had to be helped off the ice. So Lepa done for the game here for Fargo is the update we have. Taylor for Swoboda, and Swoboda kind of digging out of the corner. We'll flip it over here to the near side. Brazen Bozer first there for Fargo. As Fargo looks to clear it out, and they do, and that one I think got caught between the benches. So a stoppage with 17:27 to play in the second period. Road team won both times here in this series very early on. Fargo won in Dubuque in mid-October. That was October 14th, 4-0, and then Fargo won their first 10 games of the regular season. Their first loss here at Shields Arena November 30. 4-3 overtime victory for the Fighting Saints as Lucas St. Louis had the game winner in overtime. Center ice faceoff coming here with Morrissey and Charlie Arendt. Arendt will play collegiately at The Ohio State University. Here's Newmeyer. Sends that one in deep. Back to play it, Fisher Scott. Scott pass wide, did not connect with Michael Barron. Puck will go all the way down, and icing will be the call. Passing at times, some of those breakout feeds and such have not been real crisp. And they try to set a point to try and play physical a little bit with Fargo. And I think they're kind of getting to the point where they've got to try and either force something through their forecheck or try to get some of their playmakers out in space. As Plant will take the draw here for Fargo. A Charlie Arendt to the right of goaltender Kevin Radler. And after losing their first postseason game at home to Youngstown, game 1 of the semifinals, they ran off 6 consecutive wins. Boy, to do that in the postseason is impressive. Parks trying to handle it, played high off the glass, is got there by Cornforth. Newmeyer keeps it in, sends it towards the goal, intercepted by Dubuque. Here's Barron. He trying to find Cornforth at center, couldn't connect. Reaching for it, couldn't control. Here's Swanson for the Force. Flips that one high and in deep. Fargo looking to dump and chase, and quickly cleared back out by Dubuque. Swanson with a check. Puck comes out to neutral ice before carrying it in is Dubuque. Behind the net with it is Visenden. Visenden trying to drop it in front as Charlie Aaron gets tied up. Play goes to the end boards. Aaron battling with Gruba for that loose puck. Fargo comes away with the puck battle there. Swanson, as he is met, flips it back to neutral ice. Cornforth digs it out for Seamus Powell. Cornforth across the line. Drops it off. Cornforth gets the feed from Michael Barron. Play goes to the end boards. Puck off the back of the net, controlled by Michael Newmeyer. 16:05 second period. Here's a turnover, 2-0 Force. Cutting into the slot, Powell. Powell trying to get the shot, a spinning save. Sliding at the edge of the crease. And at the edge of the goal is Hampton Slukinski. And he closes the door there with his ace save of the night, and maybe his best save of the night. Denying Powell there. Like he tried to kind of spin one around Slukinski, who had committed. The overhead view will show us a little bit more. And Slukinski keeps that shutout streak alive. Dubuque will get the face-off to the left of Hampton Slukinski. 8 saves so far, and kind of talked about in games this year. It happens a lot where Fargo controls play, so sometimes he might go 5-6 minutes or more and not see any pucks his way. And he hasn't seen a lot here lately, but I would say that might be the exception and rather than the rule. Face-off will be to the left of Noah Powell, or correction, of Slukinski. Noah Powell takes the draw against Gavin Morrissey. Fargo wins the draw, looking to break out with it. Davitelli couldn't settle down a rolling puck. Noah Powell's pass did not connect with Reeder, controlled by Fargo. 15:48 to play in the second. Near side, Stenari. Radler comes out of the cage with it. Pass. Morrissey takes the loose puck, sends it out. D-to-D feed. Quinn finds Bolzer. Bolzer trying to throw it in front. Bouncing puck. Davitelli swung and missed to the goaltender's right of the doorstep. Long feed. Noah Powell trying to get to it and can't get to it as icing will be called. Tried that long and a breakout feed and couldn't get to it in time before the icing was called. 15:29 to go in the second. That one shot on goal combined between the two teams in about 4.5 minutes. Here in game 1, second period, 2-0 Force. Game 2 tomorrow night. Series will move to Dubuque next Friday for game 3. Game 4, if necessary, on the 18th. If we do go 5, and a lot of the experts think that's certainly a possibility, that would be on the 21st here at Shields Arena. Fargo, the top record in the USHL, has home ice advantage. Shot fired wide off of a scrum to the slot. Shot fired wide by the Fighting Saints by Sondriel. Fighting Saints dump that puck back in. Slukinski leaves it for Gruba. Line change for Dubuque as Fisher has to not connect with Sabota. Loose puck at neutral ice. And it is carried in by Dubuque, as it was carried in that time by Teddy Merrill. Loose puck along the far side wall near the blue line. Out at center, Fisher. Jake Fisher comes across the line, fires a shot. Save made by Radler. Stick save that time. Loose puck to the end boards. We're inside of 15 minutes to play in the second as they break out with it. Dick will find Giuliani. Giuliani dumps that one in. Taken there, Andrew King. King back behind the net. Rings it around for Merrill. Now Giuliani back behind the net. Pass deflected, broken up by Plant. Play comes to the near side. Dubuque trying to get puck position, possession and sustained puck possession. Knocked away by the Force. As losing an edge was Caleb Dick. Down he goes. Controlled as Pekarczyk back to play it. Pass for Merrill trying to settle it down. Couldn't gain possession. Intercepted by Bolzer for Fargo and dumped in by the Force as we're nearly 6 minutes into the second period. Goaltender Radler comes out, sends that puck along as Merrill backhands it in. Sends that one in deep. Dubuque will start in on a line change as Paulson out there now for the Fighting Saints. Likewise, Väisänen on defense. Through neutral ice, Paulson for Väisänen. 13:43 to play here in the second. Puck knocked away by Hakkarainen, took him off the play. Paulson carries it back in. Weaves his way to the left circle. Shot save made. Rebound out on the table for Hendrickson. Shot hit the side of the goal that time. He sent it back towards Paulson and either at the pipe or the side of the goal. Turned quickly into a nice two-man game for Dubuque. Dumped back in by Brazenbozer. Fargo starts up on a line change. Morrissey, Swanson, Newmeyer, Parks, and Quinn out there in a hurry for head coach Brett Skinner. Puck sent in deep by Dubuque. Controlled by Fargo back behind the net. Newmeyer for Quinn. 13:10 to go in the second. 2-0 Force game one here in the second period of the Clark Cup final. Radler comes out of the cage. And breaking out with it comes Dubuque. Cross the line with it. Jubenville had an overtime game winner so far in the postseason. Jaden Jubenville. Quinn tries to take him off the play. Jubenville. Goal line extended. They look to cycle. Shot blocked is in front. Charlie Aaron. Shot blocked off a Fargo skater. Play goes over to the far corner. Aaron tied up to the boards there by Quinn, far side. Wraparound attempt and slid just wide that time on the wraparound from Picarchi. Just missed the net. Couple of good scoring chances here for Dubuque in the second period. Here's a turnover as Cornforth just off the bench intercepted. Fired a shot. Save made. The Fargo fans thought he was offside, but able to keep it in play. Here's Swanson. Swanson down the left wing boards. Mack puts the brakes on. Left circle. Centering feed. Eventually broken up and intercepted by the Fighting Saints. Colin Frank gains the line. Frank has it poked away back to neutral ice. Play goes between the benches with Sandrio as we have a whistle and a stoppage. 11:58 to go in the second period. I think the puck ended up out of play. And time for our first media break. 11:58 to go in the second. Game one of the USHL Clark Cup final. It's the Force 2 and Dubuque nothing. Beer can race is next. Pick a winner. We'll tell you how it went in 60 seconds on FloHockey and 104.7 KFGO. What's out? 60 here. Okay. Busch Light was our convincing winner in the beer can race. Wire to wire, and we did have a penalty as well as Gavin Cornforth into the bin. Did not see that earlier, but that was the whistle that got us to the media timeout. So Cornforth, the penalty, as we'll let you know, is time of the penalty, 8:02. Fargo gets their second power play of the night. They win the draw. Here's Quinn. Quinn broken up by Sondriel. Swanson, Quinn, near side. Top of the left circle is Gruba. Down low, Parks. Switching to the forehand, try to flip it up over the shoulder of the goaltender. And save made. Gruba shot and a glove save by Radler. A couple of quality scoring chances there and a blast from Gruba in the left circle. Cornforth serving the penalty. It's a too many men call, bench minor, so too many men on the ice, leading to Fargo's second power play. Fargo 5 of 18 in the postseason, the man advantage. And Dubuque with that kill earlier in the game is 12 for 12 on the penalty kill here in the postseason. Off the face-off, Quinn keeps it in, play to the half wall, and cleared out by the Fighting Saints. And all the way down. Sondriel, Reeder, Meisenen and Scott on the penalty kill. Pass intercepted. Loose puck at the red line. Cleared, but not all the way down. Controlled by Fargo. Near side, Gruba. Gruba stick handles. Fires it cross ice and in deep. Parks after it. Controlled there by Meisenen. Now Sondrel nearly got caught in his jersey, and he will clear it all the way down. Change coming here for Dubuque. Level 08 to go in the second. Out comes Swoboda as Fargo will change up on their power play unit. 1:05 to play in the man advantage. 11 minutes to go in the second. It's 2-0 Force here in game one of the Clark Cup final as Radler had to slow it down with his stick and cleared out again by the Fighting Saints and all the way down. Fargo's got, I believe, 3 shots. At least 2 so far in this power play. It's a 15-10 edge here in the man advantage. Taylor down the wall left side. Play goes to the end boards. Now Fisher. Lestarza far side. Bolzer camp to the blue line. He gets it at the blue line. Drops it off. One-timer for Taylor. A shot and a save made there by Kevin Radler. Comes back to Taylor. Taylor, quick feed. Swoboda. High slot. Swoboda. Now Bolzer at the point. Taylor camped in at the left circle. Here's Lestarza. Feed for Taylor. Taylor back out. Bolzer. Bolzer to the high slot. One-timer. Lestarza. Radler the save. Rebound loose. And cleared aside by Dubuque, but kept in by Bolzer. 10 seconds to go in the man advantage. Fisher gets tied up. Swoboda brings it around here. Taylor to play it. Taylor works his way back left circle. Now Swoboda camping down towards the goal line, as was Swoboda. And penalty has expired. So back to even strength. Cornforth harassing Bolzer's play goes into the Dubuque offensive zone. They'll try and get the forecheck set up. Fargo clears it out. Bouncing puck. Davatella comes across the line. Davatella gets hit by Dick, and nice job there by the defenseman Caleb Dick to take him off the play. 9:32 to go in the second. Dumped in by Cornforth, and it takes a carom off the corner boards and right onto the goaltender, forcing Slukinski to make a play on it. As the Fighting Saints just 3 shots on goal through nearly 11 minutes of the second period. Stenari dumps it in for the Force. Radler for Dick, and sent along, trying to control it. Andrew King comes back to neutral ice. First one there, Teddy Merrill between the benches. Dumps it in, but taken there by Leo Gruba for Fargo. Now Newmeyer. Newmeyer deflected. Morrissey sends that one along, drops it back. Newmeyer. Newmeyer through traffic. Tried to drop it in front. Stenari got tied up in front as they try to centering feed. Giuliani for King, and back comes Dubuque with it. King dumps it back in. 8:45 to go in the second. 2-0 Fargo here, game one of the Clark Cup Finals. Comes back for Scott between the circles. Meisenen dumps it in, brings it around to the far side. Newmeyer there, centering feed. Nobody home in red to take it. Comes back now, Meisenen. Meisenen shot, deflected off the stick of Giuliani, up into the netting, and out of play. 8:28 to go in the second. Fargo, if you just joined us, got goals from Leo Gruba and Brandon Swoboda in the first period, and it's held up to this point. 8:28 to go in the second. It is Fargo 2, Dubuque nothing. Game one of the USHL Clark Cup final. We're back with more in 60 seconds on FloHockey at 104.7 KFGO. Fargo leads 2-0. As Michael Quinn at neutral ice dumps that one in. Radler trying to slow it down. Got to get out of the cage as Fargo looking to gain possession as Radler spinning and twisting his way back to the crease as play goes back to neutral ice. He had 2 skaters surrounding as he was trying to find his way through rush hour traffic to get back in net. Fargo couldn't gain possession. Otherwise, It was an unoccupied net for a few seconds. Feed for Fisher. Backhanded shot pushed us wide. Bozer and at the half wall to try and keep that puck in deep. Tied up there with Hendrickson. Play comes to the near side wall. Visenden and Swanson trying to win that puck. Parks dug it out, but controlled by Dubuque. Hendrickson trying to get around the defenseman Bozer. Brazen Bozer gains control now for the Force. Quiet second period as Fargo leads it 2-0. Pass through a couple of lines. Deflected out, taken out there by Dubuque. Pekarchik with it, deflected out, keeps in play. High off the glass far side, here's Taylor for the Force. Taylor across the line, shot, glove save, and Radler will hang on. The Swedish goaltender, there you see a look at him. He will turn 20 in early September, on September 2nd. 5th round draft pick, 2022. 151st overall, the Ottawa Senators will be in the NCHC at Omaha. Fargo get an offensive zone face-off. That line is now Swoboda, Plant, and Lastarza. Gruba and Tate Taylor on defense. Again, Tom Leppa out for the game after being injured, helped off the ice in the first period. .7:18 to play in the second. Shots on goal 8-3 in the period in favor of Fargo, 19-10 overall. Force, Gruba's feed went through the slot. Feed back for Swoboda, gets taken off the play by Noah Powell. Back come the Fighting Saints. Pass, trying to connect with Reeder, delayed offside called, and Fargo gains possession anyway. So that pass got broken up and led to the delayed offside call. Kind of broke up the flow of play there for the Fighting Saints. Fargo sends that puck in deep and shoveled out of there by Jaden Jubenville. Quinn as Gruba. Gruba bats that one into the offensive zone. Is controlled there. The feed connects. Pass just out of the reach, just behind James Reeder. Tried to break him out as he entered the zone. And dumped in by the Force. Swoboda after it as back to play at Seamus Powell. Fargo to a line change. 6:28 to play in the second. Powell with it. Sondriel down the right wing boards, trying to get through Stenari and Newmeyer, but lost the puck in the process. Morrissey taken away there by Noah Powell. Taken back by Stenari, breaks out with it. Stenari at center, drops it for Davitella, puts the brakes on. Feed, Quinn plays it off the half wall, poke checked away, taken back by Dubuque. 3-on-3, here's Davitella, intercepts the pass at center, turns, and he'll come across the line. Reed Davitella, nice move. Works his way right circle. Chased from behind there by Cornforth. Play goes to the far side. Fargo trying to possess the puck. Little offensive zone time here, but quickly taken back by Dubuque. 5:47 to go in the second. As that puck deflected between the benches and out of play it goes. And really Fargo has done Dubuque has done a nice job in not letting Fargo really get set up, even on the power plays as well. Fargo has not really established a lot of time in the offensive zone. The Gruba goal was basically kind of freelancing a little bit. The second goal, they had really established things, kind of kept play alive in the offensive zone, but really more times than not, Dubuque's done a really good job of not letting them get real comfortable in the offensive zone, but the same is applied as well on Fargo defensively as well. If you're shutting out a team that scored over 4 goals a game, you're doing something right. They did that once in the regular season as well. Here's Brazen Bozer. Bozer, pass trying to connect with Hacker-Winden, deflects to Plant. Plant at center, backhands that one in. 5:23 to go in period number 2. A scoreless second to this point. Here's Plant with it for Fargo. Comes back to the point for Tate Taylor. Now Bozer. Bozer works his way down the left wing board. Little head and shoulder move. Centering feed did not connect. Taylor to the corner. Now we'll chase after it. Play comes to the near side. Tate Taylor, first one there for the Force. Drops it off for Bozer. Throws it in front, looking for a tip. As Hacker-Winden camped in front, got a stick on it. Here's Bozer with it. Bozer throws it in front, got it through traffic, and Radler the save. We're inside of 5 minutes to play in the second. Here's Taylor reaching for it and controls. Tate Taylor out of the corner with it. Centering feed broken up and cleared out, and they needed a clear, and Visenden able to do just that. Jona Visenden sends the puck all the way down, icing the call. Faceoff will come back into the Force offensive zone. 4:38 to play in period number 2. Game 1 of the Clark Cup final as Fargo hanging on to a 2-0 lead. These two teams are top 2 in the league in standings, points, power play, and penalty kill, along with goals scored. Touched on that. Both were over 270 goals in the regular season, 4.4 goals per game. Both their power plays were over 31% success rate. Gruba fires out one to the corner. Morrissey back behind the net. Comes back to Newmeyer. Newmeyer at the point, throws it in front, and Parks was camped in front. He was tied up there with Visenden as it came through to the goaltender, and Radler the save. Fargo's penalty kill was 86% of the regular season. Dubuque's was 84%, both very good. And Dubuque has been so far flawless, now 13 of 13 of the penalty kill through the postseason. 4:27 to play in the second. Shots on goal, a 2-1 edge as it was in Game 5, 42-21 against Sioux City. Fargo held the edge. 20-10 is kind of felt more like a defensive struggle here in the second period. Fargo with a 2-0 lead. Teddy Merrill takes the draw here for the Fighting Saints. Like that red look. A little bit of Detroit Red Wings, a little bit anyway. Fargo, the white sweaters, kind of went to more all black and a little bit of gray and silver. Kind of took the blue out, which it was black and blue for a long time. Here comes Merrill, 3-on-3. Merrill comes across the line. Pass did not connect that time with Andrew King. Play goes to the corner is coming here near side is Newmeyer. Really mishandled the puck. Max Swanson at center, backhands that one in deep. Will try and chase after it. Jubenville, again, they'll be college teammates. Intercepted by Fisher, but broken up by the Fighting Saints. Fargo reaching forward to try and keep it in the zone is Bozer. As back to play it will be Luke Malbeuf for Dubuque. Merrill from center dumps it in. They'll start up on a change as sharp angle shot blocked by Quinn. Got a piece of that shot as Hendrickson out there, as is Dick. As Swoboda comes across the line for the Force down the left wing boards. Play goes over to the corner. Now back at Hendrickson. Brings around to the far side. Bozer in the corner. Bozer back behind the net with it for Fargo. Raising Bozer. Drops it off. They cycle. Swoboda for Bozer. D-to-D feed for Quinn. Right circle shot. Quick wrister fired wide. Comes back to Bozer at the point. Now Swoboda left circle. Swoboda throws it in front. Traffic in front. Fisher got tripped up. Radler the same. 4-on-3 for Dubuque now as that puck deep into the offensive zone. After it is Tokarczyk. Taken there by Davatella. Drops it off for Quinn. Now Lestarza with some room to move. Lestarza down the left wing boards. Lestarza drops it back for Davatella. He's tied up. Grabbed by Plant. Plant sharp angle shot. Closing the gate there was Radler in the save. Back at Hendrickson. 1-on-4. We'll sweep it over to the near side. It's fired in that time by Caleb Dick. Fargo looks to control as Newmeyer harassed there by Reeder. Has to change direction and turnover. Here's a chance for Reeder. Shot save made. Nice job there by Slukinski. Forecheck forced a turnover and a quick scoring opportunity. Sondriel just off the bench. Sondriel in the corner. He's tied up with Newmeyer. Puck goes over to the far corner, taken there by Dubuque. We're inside of 2 minutes to go in the second period. Still 2-0 Fargo. Sondriel. Stick handles to the corner, spinning away from the defender. Now finding that is Reeder. Reeder puts the brakes on, reverses field. Noah Powell to the corner. Wheels it back to the point. Now Powell gets it back. Scott ready in the high slot, or actually back towards the point. Centering feed in front, and they score! Dropped it off. And going up top was Jona Visenden to get the Fighting Saints on the board. And just like that, the Fargo lead is halved. It's 2-1 for us. Visenden from the bottom of the right circle. They had Reeder in front, but they had a better look with Visenden, who beats Hampton Slukinski. First goal that he's surrendered in at least 138 minutes, if not more. As that goal comes at 18:25 of the second period. Visenden gets his first goal of the postseason. And just like that, a one-goal game. It's 2-1 in favor of the Force, and they get one late here in the second, so a chance perhaps to get a little bit of momentum on their side. Raising Bozer. And again, lower scoring games have kind of been their norm. They got to 4 a couple of times in the conference final. Seamus Powell sends that puck along as Dubuque gets one. We'll get the scoring here in just a moment as Swanson has it taken away. Flipped back by Dubuque. Leo Gruba goes back to play it. D-to-D feed for Bozer. Bozer at the red line fires it in. Brings around to the far side. Davitella, first one there for Fargo. Swanson checked. Takes the hit that time. Takes the body from Jubenville. Max Swanson with it. Works his way back up high. Turns top of the right circle. Davitella. Davitella controls now for Gruba. Gruba, now Swanson. High right circle, feed Bozer. Bozer, a shot save made. Rebound was loose on the table, but Morrissey was tied up. Giuliani carries it out for Dubuque. At neutral ice, 40 seconds to play in the second. Controlled by the Fighting Saints, controlled there by King. King's feed for Scott, right circle. Shot, try to go upstairs, it looked like. Deflected up into the netting and out of play. 31.9 to go in the second period. Now a 2-1 lead for Fargo. Let's get you the scoring here in the Dubuque goal. It's Vizenen from Noel Powell and Jake Sondriel. As we take a look at the replay, there was the feed for Bozer. There you see Morrissey and Davitella were there, but Morrissey tied up with Jubenville in front. He saw the puck but couldn't get to it. So Powell his second assist, Sondriel his fourth of the playoffs. It's now a 2-1 Fargo lead. 31.9 to go as Eric Paulson will take the draw. Sondriel now his 5th point of the postseason. He has a goal now and 4 assists. Off the face-off, controlled in the corner by Newmeyer. Up the wall. The Stars that can't get to it. Paulson. Eric Paulson dumps that puck in deep. After it, Hendrickson. Hendrickson behind the net, stick handles. Centering feed. Like it hit maybe the side of the goal, carried out by Lestarza. Now Swoboda, 13 seconds to play in the second period. Swoboda trying to get free, but nice job to break that play up. Down to a knee was Fisher Scott. Now battle for it over in the corner. Scott pass intercepted by Plant, but taken back by the Fighting Saints. Down to 1, and that'll end the second period of play. Dubuque gets one back on the goal from Jona Vizenen to make it a 2-1 game. Shots on goal 11-6. So Dubuque tightening things up. Fargo, a couple of chances on the power play, but nice job. Dubuque remains perfect. The Fighting Saints flawless so far in the penalty kill in the postseason, and they get one back late. It's a 1-goal game as we head to period number 3 in game 1 of this Clark Cup final. So look at Fargo as well. They have put up 5 and 4 goals in the last 2 wins of the Western Conference final. And how many will it take to take a game 1 victory here tonight? We'll get to the second period summary in our intermission report. We'll check the NHL playoffs. The Twins pick up another win and much more. And we'll take a look at some of the award winners, more of the award winners from the Fargo Force in our intermission report. Through 2 periods of play, a good one here at Shields Arena. Game 1 of the USHL Clark Cup final. It's Fargo 2, Dubuque 1. We're back with more in 2 minutes on 104.7 KFGO and FloHockey. As we are back here at Shields Arena, Brad Anderson with you, Jim Cook back at our studios. Intermission number 2, Fargo 2, Dubuque 1. Through 2 periods of play as Fargo had a couple of opportunities in the man advantage, and really both teams, really defense doing a really nice job. Neither team able to get a lot of sustained ice time and puck possession of the offensive zone, and Dubuque taking advantage late as Jona Väisänen getting a feed from Noah Powell and scoring. As Väisänen, his first goal of the postseason, making it a 2-1 game. The scoring on that goal once more at 18:25. Väisänen from Noah Powell and Jake Sondriel. Noah Powell picks up his second assist, 4th point. Powell, another sniper for this Dubuque Fighting Saints squad. 43 goals, 74 points, and gets an assist there. Jake Sondriel, his 4th assist, 5th point of the playoffs. And that made it a 2-1 game. 1 penalty in the second period. A bench minor against the Fighting Saints, served by Gavin Cornforth. A bench minor for too many men at 8:02. And that was killed off by the Fighting Saints. So Fargo 0 of 2 on the power play. And that now puts them at 5 of 19 in the postseason on the man advantage. So 2 penalties, 4 minutes for Dubuque, and Fargo, no penalties so far this evening. So 2-1 your score, and interesting to see Dubuque gets one back. And if you look at their games, really all the games for the most part fairly tight. They did get a 6-0 blowout in Game 2 of the Youngstown series as Bakarczyk had a 4-point game. They have not had a lot of games in this postseason where they've had a lot of multiple point scores. Bakarczyk had a big game in Game 2 of the semifinal series against Youngstown, a 4-point game where he had a goal and 3 assists. But you look at it really, and that was the same for the Force as well. Really good balance, and they have good production up and down their lines. And again, where Dubuque is strong, Fargo is strong, and vice versa. But look at their 2-1, 2-0, a couple of 4-3 games, and that series against Muskegon. Jubenville got the game-winning goal, 4:48 into overtime, but they got goals from Teddy Merrill, from Gavin Cornforth, and also from Fisher Scott. Their defensemen have really put up some points. As St. Louis, 3 goals, 2 assists. Jubenville, 5 points. Seamus Powell, 3 points. So their defensemen have had a lot of production. Same goes for Fargo as well in this postseason. Michael Quinn, 5 points. Leo Grubel with his goal earlier has 4 points. Tate Taylor has 4 points as well. So again, you just look at all these numbers and you go, that sounds familiar, doesn't it? And that is certainly the case. So the 4-0 win, the series clincher a week ago Thursday. They got a pair of goals from Josh Giuliani, a Plymouth, Minnesota product. Cornforth and St. Louis had a goal as well. They had 9 different players get at least a point in that 4-0 win. They outshot Muskegon 35-21, and Kevin Radler had 21 saves. So 2-1 after 1, as we talked about. Fargo dominating the year-end awards. We talked about Max Swanson named the Forward and Player of the Year. As the Player of the Year, GM of the Year, and Coach of the Year were all announced today. And you go back earlier in the week, as taking a look at some of the news and notes here, but the all USHL teams were selected. Hampton Slukinski named the Goaltender of the Year. John Mustard out of Waterloo was named the USHL Rookie of the Year, the 3rd Waterloo Blackhawk to win that award. Mustard, a Providence commit, 29 goals, 27 assists, so 56 points in 60 games for the Blackhawks this year. As he also led all rookies in the USHL with 7 power play goals this season, but those all USHL teams announced, that came out a couple of days ago on Wednesday, and Fargo well represented there. And the all USHL first team, including Max Swanson, Leo Grupa, and Hampton Slukinski. As also a first teamer was Jona Väisänen for the Dubuque Fighting Saints. Väisänen, 40 points, 9 goals, 31 assists for Dubuque this season. plus 31, and the plus-minus tied for 4th in the USHL this season. On the second team, it includes Zam Plant of the Force. He is joined by Noah Powell of Dubuque, Kevin Radler of Dubuque as well on that second team. Radler this season, 2.86 goals against average, a save percentage just over 90%, 27 wins in that this year. A very impressive 27-5, 2-4 for the Dubuque Fighting Saints. 3 shutouts this year, tied for second in the league, and was goaltender of the week in the USHL 3 times in the regular season. They're joined by a couple of Tri-City Storm players, Trevor Connolly and Vladislav Lukashevich. Ty Hansen, who was injured, got shaken up pretty bad in that Game 5 on Sunday against Sioux City, but good to see Ty Hansen on that second team as well. The all-second team of the USHL. On the third team, it includes Brazen Bolzer from the Fargo Force. Bolzer, 37 points, 7 goals, 30 assists, and 61 games this year for the Fargo Force. It's plus-minus, plus 36, third in the league this season, tied for 6th in points among all defensemen in the league as well. As he was joined by Austin Bernovic of Madison, Jake Sondriel of Dubuque, 69 points for Dubuque, 27 goals and 40 assists in 60 games. Sasha Boisvert of Muskegon, Michael Higgins of Chicago, and Carson Musser out of Madison was the third-team goaltender this year as well. So a lot of very familiar names in this Clark Cup final in all those all-USHL teams with Dubuque and Fargo. And you can probably see why if you're watching tonight, if you're not familiar with Dubuque or vice versa. A lot of talent out there on the ice, and it has been on display here through the first 40 minutes. We'll take a timeout. We'll check some other scores around the NBA and NHL playoffs, plus the Twins and the season opener for the Fargo Moorhead Redhawks, as well as tonight across town at Newman Outdoor Field. 2 periods in the books here. Game 1 of the Clark Cup final from Shields Arena. It's Fargo 2 and the Dubuque Fighting Saints 1. We're back with more in 2 minutes on 104.7 KFGO and FloHockey. Fargo with a 2-1 lead. They outshot Dubuque 11-6 in the second period. It is now 22-13. The edge to the Force through 2 periods of play. The Fargo Moorhead Redhawks opening up their campaign tonight at Newman Outdoor Field. Top of the 6th, they lead the Lincoln Salt Dogs by a score of 3-2. And not too often you get a little hockey and baseball at the same time, but make a playoff run. The American Association getting their season underway it does happen. The attendance tonight here at Shields Arena, 4,308, 4308 here at Shields Arena tonight. So another great crowd. They got a little over 4,000 on a 70-degree Sunday afternoon for the Western Conference Final, and a beautiful spring evening as well at 4308. Thank you, Force Nation, again for another great playoff house and a terrific atmosphere. Red Hawks lead Lincoln, top of the sixth, across town at Newman Outdoor Field. It is 3-2. The Minnesota Twins, now 16 of their last 18 games have gone in the left-handed column. A win tonight, a 3-2 win over the Toronto Blue Jays, as the Twins starting a 3-game series north of the border in Minnesota. Keep a little pressure on Cleveland at the top of the American League Central standings. 3-2 the final. As checking some other scores, NHL playoffs. And let's get an update on those here as well. The Florida Panthers were leading the Boston Bruins. It is now 4-2. About 3 minutes to play in Game 3. 4-2 in favor of the Panthers, as Edmonton and Vancouver later tonight in the NBA playoffs. Timberwolves are underway, trailing 4-0 early on to the Denver Nuggets. Game 3 at Target Center. Indiana beat the Knicks 111-106 as the Knicks lead the Pacers now 2-1 in that Eastern Conference semifinal. We'll come back with the highlights on the video side for you folks on FloHockey and get you ready for the third period of play. The Force lead it 2-1 over the Dubuque Fighting Saints, as first-team All-USHL defenseman Jona Väisänen picks up his first goal of the postseason to make it a 1-goal game. Could be a tight third period. We'll come back with the highlights and get you ready for period number 3. We'll do that in 60 seconds on 104.7 KFGO and FloHockey. Force come out for period number 3 here at Shields Arena. They did hand out the white rally towels. I was able to grab one. 2 white rally towels presented by Coors Light, S&S Promotional Group. Collected a few of those now that over the years, they hand those out during the Clark Cup final. We'll add that to the office display as we get to our highlights. Fargo starting things off. This was early on as they had the power play opportunities. Shot thrown into traffic there, and goaltender Radler came up with a save, and then Swanson and the one-timer. Radler denied him there as well, as Radler stopped all 11 shots in the second period. There was Noah Powell denied there by a sliding and sprawling Hampton Slukinski, denying Noah Powell there. There's another opportunity as Hendrickson, well, 2-man game there with Paulson as they shot off the side of the goal. And then they got on the board here as they had Reeder cutting camped in front. They found Väisänen instead with a forehand and scoring. And that made it a 2-1 game, and there's more traffic there. Brazen Bozer from the left circle. Clean look on that shot. So Fargo's the edge in shots. 22-13. So Dubuque, looking back at their playoff numbers, they were outshot in Game 4 against Youngstown. They were also outshot against Muskegon in Game 2, 31-29. Morrissey, Parks, and Swanson out there. Starting line of the third period for Fargo is controlled by Scott. And the third period of game one is underway as Swanson comes free taken there by Fisher Scott. Scott will fire that one in, rings around to the far side. Dubuque will play it. They'll ring it back for Scott. Scott to the point and couldn't handle it as got a whistle and a stoppage. Did that puck end up out of play? Or what exactly happened? The faceoff's going to stay in the Dubuque offensive zone. I don't know if it wouldn't be offside, so I don't know if that puck maybe went out of play, but whatever the case is, Dubuque will get the faceoff as got Noah Powell, Sondriel out there. They definitely have some snipers out there. Sondriel, 69 points in the regular season. James Reeder, 60 points. He's out there as well. So Noah Powell, Sondriel takes the draw here with Gavin Morrissey. It's off the face-off. Loose in front of the slot, and Bolzer fires it out now for Fargo. Opening minute of play here in the third. Noah Powell backhands that as Bolzer to play it. Dubuque has played a couple of overtime games. Fargo has not. Although I can say Dubuque played in a lot maybe tighter games than Fargo has. Line change coming here for the Force as Sondriel with it for the Fighting Saints. Return feed at center did not connect. Jubenville back to play it. Long diagonal feed. They had to drop it for Sondriel. Backhanded out and batted back in as Radler back to play it. Visenden harassed by Swoboda and by Plant. Play comes wide to the far side. Now Sondriel at center. Sondriel deflected by Plant. They try to fire it back in, and they do with James Reeder. Fargo comes back with Gruba. Gruba attempt to send it in, block, carried in. Now Noah Powell. Powell feed, trying to put his stick down, was Reeder in front and could not. Powell sent to the end boards by Newmeyer. Jubenville after it, and a giveaway handled there by Paulson. Trying to shovel it backhanded in front. Went through the slot. Play comes to the near side, finally carried out by Zam Plant. Plant at center comes across the line as Gruba with him. Drop past Newmeyer. Shot save made. Gruba had a chance to settle down the rebound and could not. As back comes Paulson with it. Back at Hendrickson. Hendrickson is taken away on the run by Brazen Bolzer. Bolzer flips it high in the air. Jubenville back to play it. Race for the puck. Merrill Stenari cannot get to it in time, and icing will be called. 18:01 to go in the third. Fargo maintains a 2-1 lead in game one of this Clark Cup final. An hour earlier tomorrow, the usual Saturday 6:05 start time. 5:45 on the pregame on FloHockey and 104.7 FM KFGO. Eric Paulson, line out there with Beckett Hendrickson. And Uri Pekarczyk. Plant in the draw for Fargo. Taylor on defense. Again, Tom Leppa out for the remainder of the game. So now Plant and Davatella and Stenari out there for the Force. Off the face-off, controlled by the Fighting Saints. Backhanded by Malbeuf. Shot fired wide. Pass intercepted by the Force. They look to break out. It's 4-on-3 if they hustle. Plant comes across the line. Plant right circle in. Spun away that time. Well done by Luke Malbeuf. Play comes to the near side as Stenari drops it off in the corner. Davatella bring it around to the far side. Fisher just off the bench. There to play at Bolzer left point. Returns it as Davatella. It's taken off the play, and they break out with it to the Fighting Saints and Hendrickson. Hendrickson trying to maneuver his way through two skaters, taken off the play, finally controlled by Tate Taylor for Fargo. Taylor through center, comes across the line, tried to stick handle, and a weak shot, and really pulled the trigger cleanly on that shot. Puck slowly rolling to Radler, and he covers up with 17:15 to play in the third. A couple of shots on goal for the Force here early in the third as they hang on to a 2-1 lead in game one. Well, Fargo, when things have gone right, they've grabbed an early lead. You go back to the first postseason game against Tri-City, got a pair of goals early for a 2-0 lead. Obviously, last Sunday, a good example of that. If they win tonight, they would move to 5-1 when scoring first off the face-off. Parks battles for that puck. It's taken there by Michael Barron. And out comes Dubuque with it. Barron comes across the line, poked away. Nice job by Morrissey. A little bit of help there from Michael Quinn. Newmeyer at the red line. Newmeyer fires it back in. Back behind the cage as Radler pushes it along to the near side. Bouncing puck between the benches and they controlled by Newmeyer in the Fargo defensive zone. Here's Swanson. Pass gathered in by Morrissey. Morrissey throws it on goal from the blue line. Kicked aside by Radler. Barron comes near side with it. Turns up ice. Can't get to the puck. Michael Quinn trying to drop it back. Now goes D-to-D instead for Newmeyer. Swanson sends it along. And Fargo starting up on a line change. Swoboda and Fisher come out there. Here's Newmeyer. Newmeyer for Fisher. I think they want to get Swanson off the ice. Rolling puck, Swoboda. Here's Swoboda, gathers it in. Swoboda now back behind the net with it. Centering feed did not connect. Intercepted by Arendt. And fires it in just beyond neutral ice. Lestarza checks in for Swanson as they Mac ended up a little longer out there on that shift. Lestarza bats it out to neutral ice. Merrill to play it now for Dubuque. And the red line, he'll fire it back in. 15:57 to play. Still 2-1 force here in third period of game one. Shot blocked from the point from Jubenville. Comes near side, Swoboda. Swoboda met there by Giuliani. Bouncing puck towards the high slot. Giuliani trying to gather it in. Keeps the zone, but poke checked away by Gruba. Back to play it, Seamus Powell. Jubenville, pass it center, and comes through across the line, Giuliani. Met there by Harper Betts. Gathers it in. Shot save made by Slukinski. Rebound swept away by Brazen Bozer. So got through traffic, throwing a shot on net. Betts right circle, feed. Lestarza, shot fired just wide. Betts got a loose puck and hit the tape of the stick on Lestarza. There's another shot from the point fired wide from Bozer. So Fargo trying to establish some offensive zone time here. Betts trying to win a puck battle, sends it back up the wall for Bozer. D-to-D for Quinn. Quinn, feed, shot, save made. Boy, quick shot there by Lestarza. And the save made by Radler and prevents a rebound. Boy, that came and happened quickly, but there Fargo, best shift here of the third period and the most sustained time of the offensive zone. Couple of scoring chances, and Radler, 23 saves. So he gets a water break there. 15:01 to play in the third. Still Fargo 2, Dubuque 1. Both these teams very disciplined. You can see that. Again, just another example of how they match up so well with one another. They're physical, but they don't cross that line too often, but making foolish mistakes. Very well coached and well disciplined. Kirk McDonald, his second year as head coach of the Dubuque Fighting Saints. Offensive zone faceoff here for Fargo with Morrissey taking the draw. The Fighting Saints win the faceoff. And it's going to be a hand pass called against, I think it's Bozer. Tried to bat that towards center. And we have immediate timeout. 14:55 to go here in the third period. Tight one here in game one of the Clark Cup final. USHL Clark Cup final remains 2-1 in favor of Fargo. We're back with more in 60 seconds on FloHockey and 104.7 KFGO FM. Back here at Shields Arena for a crowd of 4,308, the announced attendance here. Game one of the USHL Clark Cup final. Travis Christopher, PA announcer extraordinaire, trying to urge Shields Arena crowd to make a little noise. They wave some of those rally towels. 2-1 force, 2 goals. The game's first 9 minutes and 43 seconds from Leo Gruba and Brandon Swoboda have held to this point. Sondriel and Morrissey on the draw. Interesting for Dubuque this year. 41 wins this year. 41, 13, 3, and 5, as they did not win a game in a shootout, as they had all their wins either overtime or regular season. They have they call row regulation and overtime wins dumped in. That puck slid by Radler. He was trying to settle it down, and it slid by him and back behind the net. Caleb Dick dumps that puck in. Taken off the play there by Michael Newmeyer. Newmeyer gets it from Gruba, up ice for Davitella. Davitella waits for traffic to come through and finds Leo Gruba. 14-12 remaining in the third. Feed as Swanson looks to stick handle, and Swanson fires it in. Fisher hops off the bench. Fargo will complete a line change. Caleb Dick comes near side here for the Fighting Saints. Backhanded feed connects as Noah Powell. Powell trying to weave through traffic at center. Aaron down the left wing boards, fires a shot, deflected high and wide, missed the net. James Reeder to play it. Puck rings around to the near side. Scott in deep for Dubuque. Centering feed broken up by Tate Taylor. Taylor up ice for Stenari as he has Hakkarainen with him. Feed down the right wing boards. Hakkarainen trying to get there. He throws the body around on Väisänen. Väisänen has the lone Dubuque goal, came late in the second. Here's Aaron, gets the feed, works his way at center. And flips it in. Michael Barron to play it. Trying to avoid the check, and he did, of Brazen Bozer. Puck comes free now for Plant. Plant back the other way for Fargo with a full head of steam. Sam Plant across the line. Stick handles and forced off the play. Well done there by Väisänen. Took him completely out of the play. Loose puck, here's Quinn. Feed for Newmeyer. Hot pass, able to settle that puck down. Sends it to the corner. Now Plant will play it behind the net. Plant sends it around. Swoboda lets it go through for Quinn. Now Newmeyer. Newmeyer at the point, feed, and just out of the offensive zone. So Quinn, Fargo will have to reset. Michael Estarza chases after that puck, far side as play goes to the corner. Down to 12:43 to play in the third. Here's Newmeyer. Newmeyer back to the point. Now Quinn. Quinn right point. Throws it in front, looking for a tip. Swoboda played high off the glass on the end boards and did stay in play. Cleared back to neutralized by Dubuque, controlled back by Fargo. So Fargo going to play a little keep away there on that shift. Dumped in. Fargo will get to a change. Swoboda chases after Jubenville. Pass to neutral ice. Gathering it in, nearly coming and picking it clean was Gruba. Tate Taylor at the red line fires that one in. Radler back to play it. Near side, Väisänen. As Pekarczyk with it. Pekarczyk nearly fumbled it, drops it off. Hendrickson, one-timer. Carlson, and a weak one-timer. Save made there as Tate Taylor. And Pekarczyk sure shoving some pleasantries, and that's as far as it'll go. As save made there for goaltender Hampton Slukinski. 14 saves for Slukinski. Hasn't had to face a lot of shots so far in this third period. Second shot that he has faced. I know that guy. That's our guy Jacob. 11:59 to go in the third. He worked in our crew for a while. 11:59 to go in game one. 2-1 force here over the Dubuque Fighting Saints, game one of the Clark Cup final. Best of 5. Top team in each conference. A 1-versus-1 in the final this year in 2024. Seamus Powell, D-to-D feed, and it's fired in by Jaden Jubenville. Jubenville, a Manitoba product, will play for Brad Berry at UND. Loose puck as Morrissey tried to kind of reach for it and send it towards the net. Swept aside. Here's Quinn. Now a chance. There's a shot. Save made. Hakkarainen gathers in the rebound and works his way to the corner. Back for Bozer. Now for Quinn, but the pass just outside of the zone. Fargo will have to reset, and Quinn dumps it in. Good time for a line change anyway. Out comes Parks, Fisher, Swanson, Gruba, and Newmeyer. Dubuque controls as we're down to 11:20 to go in the third period. Still 2-1 force. Pass and gathered in there for an instant by Beckett Hendrickson. Taken back by Fargo. Swanson, Parks Has to not connect at center. He'll chase after it and controlled by the Fighting Saints. Backhanded by Malbuff. Gruba takes it. Swanson faces up. Left circle. Puts the brakes on top of the left circle. Neubauer returns it for Mack. Feed. Gruba reaches for it in the corner. Goal line extended to the corner. Swanson lets it go through. Neubauer at the point. Now Gruba. Fargo. Fisher down low with it. Left circle for Swanson. One-timer. Fisher blocked, and that one will go into the netting and out of play. 10:43 to go as the faceoff will stay in the Fargo offensive zone. The signal from the official there. 10:43 to play in the third. Now we're Fargo with a 2-1 lead, trying to establish things in the offensive zone and again kind of play keep away. If you have the puck, they don't, and if you're the one with the lead, you can kind of try and play that game where you can kind of play keep away. 10:43 to go. It'll be an offensive zone face-off as Morrissey, Davatella out there, as is Merrill Stenari. Still 2-1 force. Off the face-off, it is Neubauer. Neubauer shot, got through. Clean look. Radler the save. As Morrissey ends up in the net, officials are going to have to get guys separated from one another. A little bit of contact there as play came to a close. As they're going to send Stenari in or not? Nope, they're just going to get them all separated. 10:39 to play in the third period. And Fargo maintains a 2-1 lead. Sondriel ready to take the draw against Gavin Morrissey. To the right of Radler. And off the draw, Malbuff to play it. Loose, Morrissey sends it to the left circle, trying to get free as Davatella. He's tied up. Play goes back to the corner with Sondriel. As Stenari poked away back to neutral ice. Tate Taylor will chase after it. He's harassed there by Reeder. Dumped in, but quickly controlled by Dubuque. Pass at center, went off the skate. Off the skate of Sondriel. Davatella tried to carry it in, but didn't get very far. Noah Powell comes across the line. Powell puts the brakes on. Poked away. Neubauer and Morrissey do the honors. See if Fargo, well, they're going to start up in a change. Plant will come out for Morrissey. Backhanded feed as Sondriel got that feed from Visiden. And controlled by Neubauer. We're inside of 10 minutes to play in the third. Fargo leads at 2-1. Game one of the Clark Cup final. Plant. Zam across the line and offside. Svoboda was trying to get back onside. Where basically Plant had his head down and just trying to zigzag through a whole wave of Dubuque skaters, and offside the call. We're inside at 10 minutes to play. We have immediate timeout. We'll pause. It remains Fargo 2, Dubuque 1. Game one of the Clark Cup Finals from Shields Arena. We're back with more in 60 seconds on 104.7 KFGO FM and FloHockey. Off the face-off. Visiden, puck knocked free, comes back to Visiden. Inside of 10 minutes left, still 2-1 Fargo in game one. Here's King with it down the left wing boards, batted free by Quinn. Fargo looks to break out with it. Svoboda and Plant, puck battle in front of the Fargo bench. And Svoboda sends that one in. Fargo will get to a change. Parks, Fisher, Bozer, Quinn, and Lestarza out there. As Scott with it. Come across the line is getting knocked down was Teddy Merrill. Quinn grabs the loose puck down for the Force. Now for Brazen Bozer. 2 goals in the first period have held up, and that's going to be icing as it was fired from beyond the red line by Brazen Bozer, so it'll be an offensive zone face-off for the Fighting Saints. But you look at it, Dubuque has just 2 shots on goal through 11 minutes of play, and Fargo, and we've talked about this, and I know we've talked about this with Brett Skinner and even some of the assistant coaches. You get that lead, and you're kind of playing Cape away. Face off, and that's what they've done. If you've got the lead, and if you have the puck, they can't score. Still got 9:07 left, and now an offensive zone face-off. Aaron will take the draw. So off the face-off comes for Seamus Powell. It's a one-timer. Jubenville's shot deflected up into the netting and out of play. So 9:01 to go in the third. But this, if you look kind of at the playoff history, Dubuque's won 6 games in a row, and there's been a lot of games like this, a lot of tight games. The 6 games they've won in the postseason, really just one blowout. They've had 3, I guess 4-0 probably could be considered that as well. 3 one-goal games. Face-off will be to the left of goaltender Slukinski, Morrissey, and Charlie Arend on the draw. Boy, Morrissey's in a lot of draws tonight, a lot of face-offs, and he wins one there. Davatella, pass try to connect through center with Swanson, and icing will be the call. He thought they could try to connect with that stretch pass, and Mack had some space at center but couldn't get to it, so another icing and another offensive zone face-off for the Fighting Saints. 8:54 remaining. So Morrissey and Arend again. Morrissey won the last draw. And the face-off here is controlled by Fargo once more. Gruba. If they try that long pass to try and connect, try to get Swanson free, and that time Dubuque kind of sent basically one man down and one more almost as a chaser or a spy on Swanson. They had that figured out what they were trying to do. 8:49 to go in the third. 28-15, the shots on goal in favor of Fargo. 6-2 here in the third period. 2-1 force. Leo Gruba and Brandon Swoboda. Swoboda's tipping a shot from Michael Listarza to make it 2-0. That came 9:43 into the first. And then Iona Vizardin cutting it to 2-1 late in the second period. This time the Fighting Saints win the face-off. Pass for Reeder, wasn't expecting it. It comes out to neutral ice. Cross-ice feed, pass through center. Sondriel with the backhand flips it in. Gruba to play it back behind the net. Now met there by Noah Powell. Swanson, feed gathered in. Morrissey with his stick, then his skate. Davatella trying to carry it in. Davatella's play goes to the half wall. Now Morrissey, Davatella in the corner, centering feed, trying to connect with Morrissey. Here's Newmeyer. Now Swanson to the corner, as taken there by Davatella, weaves through skaters, left circle. Fargo completes the line change. Platt and Tate Taylor complete the 5 out there for Fargo. Taylor near side, throws it off the inboards and ends up in front. And a rattle around the crease there for a second, and Radler able to freeze it with 8:03 to go. Kind of know where that carom is at the end boards as it dropped right in front, and Radler, you kind of see it rattle around there in the crease. We'll get another look at it. Did Davatella maybe redirect that one perhaps? I don't know if he got a piece of it. He might have. Let's see. And can't really tell from there, but he might have helped it ever so slightly and gently redirect that one to the crease. 8:03 to play. Platt takes the draw for Fargo. Platt and Paulson and Dubuque on the draw, and they win it. St. Louis had an overtime winner here back in November. That seems like a long time ago, doesn't it? Early November. And here we are in May with a lot more at stake. Fighting Saints, St. Louis with the point, fires a shot, didn't get through traffic, carried out by Fargo. They'll flip it out, and they'll go to a change. Out comes Hakkarainen, Stenari, Quinn, and Newmeyer. 7:35 left, it's 2-1 force. Pekarczyk with it, backhanded feed, intercepted by Eero Hakkarainen. And Hakkarainen dumps it in down the left wing board. Stenari will chase after it. St. Louis bats it free, controlled there by Caleb Dick. Far side with it, it's fired in, and from neutral ice, fired on goal. Slukinski for Hakkarainen. Kept in by Dubuque. Moves back behind the net, now Paulson. Centering feed as play goal line extended. As there is Pekarczyk with it. Centering feed denied. They tried to center it in front. Hendrickson did. We've got a penalty coming. Delayed penalty call is going to be against the Force. They'll look to touch up, and Quinn will. So Dubuque will get a power play for the first time tonight. It comes at 13:04 the third period, and who's going in for Fargo? So 13:04, and Michael Newmeyer heads in on a hooking call. So here's your chance for the Fighting Saints. 13:04, a hooking call on Michael Newmeyer. So we're going to look at it here from the reverse angle. Yeah, was it there? Now they say the second there, the third time there on Hendrickson led to the hooking call. So Dubuque has struggled in the power play here in the playoffs. They are just 3 of 26 in the man advantage. 11.5% Fargo's penalty kill. They'll go shorthanded for just the 9th time in the playoffs. They are 7 of 8 on the penalty kill. And I think there's no bigger one they need to kill off than now. 6:56 to go in the third in a 2-1 Force lead. Game 1 of the Clark Cup final. As off the face-off, controlled Taylor. Backhanded by Davitella, and not quite all the way down, but Visiden will have to retreat to the defensive zone to get it. Nice job to poke that away by Gavin Morrissey. Back comes Dubuque with it. Pass beyond Sondriel. Can Morrissey get to it? He can. Here's Morrissey. Davitella, the shorthanded chance, and the shot deflected and just wide. And back comes Dubuque with it. 1:33 on the man advantage. Sondriel at center. He'll gain the line. Gets the return feed. Sondriel sends it back and comes to the point. Visiden, Pekarczyk, broken up by Taylor, got a stick on it. As it comes back to Pekarczyk, and Davitella clears it all the way down. Quickly pushed back to neutral ice by the goaltender, Radler. And controlled Finn McLaughlin. McLaughlin will clear it all the way down. 1:08 to go in the man advantage. Run clock runs. 6 minutes to go in the third. Swoboda steals it shorthanded. Had a centering feed, but did not connect. Here's Reeder. Reeder took maybe a stick up to the face, something up to the face is the way he reacted. Stenari hauls down a Dubuque skater, and that's going to lead to another penalty. As it comes back, it's a delayed penalty call. Here's Pekarczyk trying to stick handle. Fumbles with it. Swoboda's trying to touch up, and he finally does. So Stenari is headed in as he hit one of the Dubuque skaters from behind in the corner. And Fargo will be 2 men down for 41 seconds as Merrill Stenari is in on a cross check at 14:23. And we talked about how both these teams pretty disciplined. That one, Stenari went a little bit too far. So cross check the call on Stenari. Joins Newmeyer as you see those two with some territory here. This Dubuque power play was over 31% in the regular season. Off the draw, Visiden. Visiden to the high slot. Pekarczyk. One-timer shot, save by Slukenski. Backhanded shot, batted around, controlled by Fargo. Can they get a clear? They do! Back to neutral ice, and Visiden to play it. 23 seconds left of 5-on-3. 2-1 Force. Out of the corner with it. Comes back taken there by Visiden. Visiden patiently waits. Pekarczyk down low. Goal line extended. In front, batted out in the slot. Visiden gets it back. One-timer shot. Save made there. A little bit of help for Slukinski. Pekarczyk with it. We are back to 5-on-4. Pekarczyk a drive high and wide. Missed the net. Down to 4:52 left. 1:13 of power play time. Fargo cannot clear it. Pekarczyk with it. Centering feed. They go to the right circle. And a one-timer. Fired just wide. Here comes Dubuque again. Comes back to the point. They throw it in front. Sondriel tied up. Fargo looking to clear. Taylor battles for it. Loose puck. And fired wide to the end boards. Bozer trying to clear it out. So is Newmeyer. Puck chopped out. Here's Pekarczyk with it. Fires a shot and looking for a tip in front from St. Louis. That did not connect. 43 seconds left. 4:18 to play in the third. Power play under 40 seconds now. Still 2-1 Fargo. Pekarczyk with it. Pass deflected by Bozer as it comes back to St. Louis. Correction on that. Cleared by Fargo. And St. Louis and Fargo clears it all the way down. 18 seconds to go in the power play. They change up. Davitella and Swoboda out there. Inside of 4 minutes to play. Seamus Powell at center. Across the line, Paulson. Paulson right circle. Nice move in front. Shot saved by Slukinski. Loose in front. Cleared out by Davitella. Davitella has it batted away by Cornforth. Loose puck to the corner. And Stenari back out. Fargo killed off the penalty. There's a loose stick or a broken stick behind the net. Play goes to the corner. Quinn over there. As handled there by Quinn. Up the wall it goes for Davitella. Has Stenari with him. Reed Davitella comes across the line. Davitella shot. Radler the save. And a whistle. And do we have an offside call? We have a stoppage with 3:18 left. Fargo kills off the penalty, including a 5-on-3, and Shields Arena's come to life. Boy, there were a few close calls in that extended power play, and Slukinski, with help from his friends, came up huge. They announced the crowd. You might see it there, 4,308, and most of them have come up to their feet here at Shields Arena. 3:18 left. Let nail-biting time commence. 2-1 Fargo in game one. It has turned officially into a Clark Cup final grinder. King will chase after the puck, play into the Dubuque offensive zone. Out of the near corner with it. King is after it. Comes back up the wall. Jubenville batted around, played nearly a hand pass there. Stenari shot in front, fired wide. That comes Dubuque with it again. Giuliani gets tied up as Jubenville walks his way to the left circle. Feed down low, goal line extended, centering feed. Loose in the crease, backhanded out by Gruba, and all the way down. It should lead to an icing call, and it will. 2:42 to play. Shots on goal, 30-20 in favor of Fargo. A centering feed. The puck was loose in the crease for just an instant before Gruba backhanded it out. Got a clear and an icing call. 2:42 left. 30-21, the shots on goal. And I wonder if Fargo's going to take their timeout now. I think that's the signal. And Force will take their timeout. So here we go. 2:42 to go in the third. Dubuque took their timeout when they had the power play. And Brett Skinner will talk some strategy here now. 2:42 to go in the third. We'll pause. Fargo 2, Dubuque 1. Game 1 of the Clark Cup final. It's getting late. Forced by a goal. We're back in 30 on 104.7 KFGO FM and FloHockey. Shields Arena's come to life. 2:42 to go in the third. Fargo killed off nearly 3.5 minutes of power play time. Now trying to finish it. 2-1. They have pulled goaltender Radler. So 6-on-5. Off the draw, won by Dubuque. They maintain the zone. Seamus Powell, a shot, save made, cleared aside by Newmeyer. First shot got through. Battle for it. Scott down the wall with it. Broken up by Newmeyer. Play to the corner, up the wall for Davitella. Davitella trying to win that puck battle at the half wall. Powell is there, so is Scott, and Morrissey comes away with it to center and taken back by Paulson. Down the left wing boards comes Paulson. Paulson, sharp angle shot off the back of the goal. Taken there by Newmeyer. 2:10 left. The Dubuque net is unoccupied for the meantime. Kick free by Paulson. Newmeyer at the end boards. Bulls are after it. Scott will try to chase after it. Maintain the zone. He does. Sends it back to the corner. With it for Dubuque, that's Cornforth. Cornforth back up high to the blue line. One-timer. Powell blocked by Max Swanson. Seamus Powell trying to dump it back in. Controlled by Swanson, and he will clear it all the way down. He'll miss the empty net. Icing the call with 1:44 to go in the third. Been a nice job there to break that play up, Max Swanson. And back for another offensive zone face-off for the Fighting Saints with 1:44 to go. So about a minute in after they pulled goaltender Radler to set up the 6-on-5. Take a look at it again in the reverse angle. There was Cornforth dropping that feed, and then Seamus Powell's shot blocked by Swanson. So here we go. Morrissey will have to try and win another face-off here. Off the draw. As the face-off, here's Swanson. Swanson controls, has Davitella at center. Davitella comes wide and comes free, trying to find the puck. Centering feed, and again the net unoccupied. They tried the centering feed. The Fargo fans wanted a penalty as Davitella got hauled down. Here's Pekarczyk with it. We're inside of 90 seconds left. 1:21 to play. They fire it in at neutral ice. Slukinski, he's going to try and clear it out, and he does for Swanson. Swanson, pass broken up. They tried to find Davitella, try to cut him free and get a shot into the open net. Sondriel dumps it in deep. Slukinski back behind the net. Sends it over to the corner. Bulls are there for Fargo. Sweeps along Swoboda in the near corner. 1 minute remaining. Pekarczyk with it. Here's a sharp angle feed. St. Louis couldn't get it. Loose taken by Noah Powell for Dubuque. Now Pekarczyk with it. He'll fire a shot blocked. Newmeyer in front. Shot blocked again. Traffic in front. Puck kick free to the near side. Taken by Newmeyer. Cleared but not out. Swoboda gathers it in. Swoboda will have a chance. He'll find Swanson, who scores. Max Swanson into the empty net gives Fargo a 3-1 lead and may give them a 1-0 series lead. Pretty unselfish play there by Swoboda as they find the player of the year in the United States Hockey League. Mac gets his 4th goal of the postseason. Swoboda his first assist. It's a 2-point night for Swoboda. And Fargo has a 2-goal lead in the final minute. Radler is back in net. So it took Fargo a little over 2 minutes to get that empty netter and a 2-goal lead. Morrissey, Paulson on the draw here is controlled by the Fighting Saints and Scott for Cornforth and fired in by Hendrickson. Slukinski sends it along far side. Stenari chops at it. Puck goes the length of the ice. Scott will chase after it. Time ticking free. 24 seconds left. Pass deflected. Here's Paulson carrying it in. No, offside will be the call. 21.4 seconds left. Paulson and Tate Taylor. And Tate Taylor doing a fair amount of the jawing there, as it took 2 officials to get them separated. But boy, Tate Taylor doing a lot of chirping. 21.4 seconds left. Now Paulson getting his 2 seconds in, or 2 cents in, I should say. Swanson from Swoboda on the empty netter. 19-21. Maybe enough to put this baby to bed. So 21.3 left. Morrissey and Paulson on the draw. 3-1's been pretty popular for home finals here at Shields Arena early on in the postseason. Newmeyer controls, backhands it off the glass. Scott keeps it in. Puck battle near side. 10 seconds to go in the third. It comes free. Back to play at Seamus Powell. Second stick away here. Final second stick away at 4. Down to 3. Taylor to play it at 2. At 1. Game 1 belongs to the Force. 3-1 the finals. The officials trying to get players separated over in the far corner. They're not quite there yet. Hendrickson and let's see who it is for Fargo. It's Beckett Hendrickson for the Fighting Saints, and now they've got them separated from one another. Fargo takes game 1 by a 3-1 score. Was it Tate Taylor? Sure it was. He'll join in the celebration. Fargo takes game 1 in a hard-fought 3-1 win. They take game 1, their first Clark Cup final win on home ice in 6 years, their second all time. So 1 in the bank, 2 more to try and get for a Clark Cup championship. 3-1 the final. We'll have our 3 stars of the game coming up here momentarily as Fargo will salute the 4,300 plus here at Shields Arena. Swanson from Swoboda on the empty netter, so Mack has a 2-point night. Swoboda has a 2-point night at 19-21. Shots on goal 9 for Fargo, final total of 31. 10 for Dubuque, and boy, they did throw all kinds of pressure there in the extended power play in the 5-on-3. Look at it, Fargo, it was close to 3.5 minutes of power play time that they had to kill off late, and they did it. So it would have been about 3 minutes and 19 seconds as both the penalties in the third period against the Force, with Newmeyer for hooking at 13:04, and then Merrill Stenari, the checking from behind call. So we get to our 3 stars of the game. The number 3 star, the USHL Player of the Year, and Max Swanson. Number 2 star of the night, we'll go to Leo Gruba, who started the scoring with a perfectly placed shot, top left corner on goaltender Radler for the game's first goal. And our number 1 star of the night, the young man acquired from the Youngstown Phantoms near the trade deadline, Brandon Swoboda, comes through with a goal and an assist on the empty netter. So your 3 stars of the game, Max Swanson, Leo Gruba, and Brandon Swoboda. So there you can check the box. Check 1 to the home team. Fargo takes a 1-0 lead here in this Clark Cup Finals. Game 2 tomorrow night here at Shields Arena at 6:05. Post game next. Final score, Fargo 3, Dubuque 1. We're back after this on 104.7 KFGO FM and FloHockey. What was that? I can't hear you over the ad. There you see or hear the game clinching goal in the empty netter. With Max Swanson from Brandon Swoboda, the lone goal of the third period is Fargo. It was kind of a docile third period there for the first probably 10-12 minutes, and then Fargo taking a couple of penalties. Michael Newmeyer and Merrill Stenari. As we get to our third period summary, the two penalties, Newmeyer for a hook at 13:04, and then Stenari 14:23, a checking from behind call. So they had 5-on-3 for 41 seconds and then killed off the remainder of that penalty. And that was probably, I don't want to say the difference, but it was certainly a big boost for Fargo there, as it kept it at 2-1. They took a timeout, Force did, but that allowed the Fighting Saints to pull Kevin Radler with a little over 2.5 minutes to go, and then Fargo getting the empty netter late. Swanson making it 3-1 the final. Shots on goal in that third period for the Force, 9, final total of 31, 10 for Dubuque, a final total of 23. So another solid performance again for Hampton Slukinski as he ends up with 22 saves tonight. And another very stout performance, Kevin Radler as well, 28 saves as he gave up a couple of goals in the first period, and they stuck with the goals from Gruba and Brandon Swoboda. Lone goal of the third period came in the final minute at 19:21. Swanson from Swoboda. Final totals here tonight before a crowd of 4,308. Both teams went 0 for 2 on the man advantage here this evening. So Fargo wins game one. It's the first time they've won game one in the Clark Cup final since they did so in 21 when they won at Chicago over the Steel. Go back to 2018. They won here in game one over Youngstown. So 3 of the last 4 times they've been in the Clark Cup final, they've won game one twice here on home ice. Now critical game 2. Can Dubuque even things up and swing things back in their favor as the series will head to Iowa next weekend? But one of the books here for the Force as they pick up the victory 3-1 the final. We'll take one final break and check some other scores from the NHL and NBA playoffs and set the stage for game 2 tomorrow night. Force 3, Fighting Saints 1. We'll wrap it up after this on 104.7 KFGO. So Fargo wins their first home Clark Cup Finals game in 6 tries. Game 1 back in 2018. And a 1-0 lead, a 3-1 win. Checking some other scores. The Twins won tonight as they were victorious 3-2 over the Toronto Blue Jays. Minnesota has won 16 of their last 18 games. As Joe Ryan the win, now 2-2. Griffin Jacks picked up the save for Minnesota. Well, the Denver Nuggets proving the defending NBA champs not dead yet. Late in the second quarter, it is the Nuggets over the Timberwolves in Minneapolis 53-36. In the NHL playoffs, the Florida Panthers have a 2-1 lead in the second round series in the Eastern Conference, 6-2 over the Bruins. They lead a 2-1, or have a 2-1 lead in that series over the Boston Bruins. Out west, the Oilers and the Canucks are tied at 1 in the first period. Game 2 of that second round series as Vancouver leads that series 1-0. Here at 3-1 the final, Fargo picks up the victory as last year they lost game 1 here at home to Youngstown, and Fargo never trailed in this Clark Cup final. As a couple of goals early from Gruba and Swoboda, as Leo Gruba at 2:59 of the first, and a perfectly placed shot from the high slot, top left corner over goaltender Kevin Radler, and then Brandon Swoboda tipping a shot from Lestarza for an early 2-0 lead after 1, and it's stuck. 3-1 the final. So game 2 tomorrow night here at Shields Arena. An hour earlier, 5:45 is the pregame time, 6:05. If you haven't gotten tickets, there are some remaining, but I would get them quick because I say if the bandwagon's already pretty full, and there are some good seats left, but you might want to jump on those. Go to FargoForce.com, go to Ticketmaster, or stop by the arena and get here early and pick those tickets up for tomorrow night. Game 2, 6:05, the opening face-off. We hope to see you here. If not, tune in on FloHockey and, of course, here at 104.7 KFGO FM. That'll do it tonight. For Jim Cook back at our studios, I'm Brad Anderson. It was as what you would hope a championship series game would be. As the top two, the best in the USHL, square off. It goes to the Fargo Force. Fargo wins at 3-1 over the Dubuque Fighting Saints. We get you back to regular programming from 104.7 KFGO. We'll talk to you tomorrow night. So long. Yep, we'll see you.